Welcome, everybody. The start of the fourth season of HTL Cup Series playoffs begins here at a track infamous for its difficulty and its challenge. Tonight, 12 drivers begin their quest for a championship. A new champion will be crowned at the end of this season. Who's going to be the fortunate soul to carry the crown? That journey begins tonight here at Darlington Speedway for the HTL Southern 250. Welcome everyone to ABN Esports coverage of the HTL Cup Series. We're going from Darlington all the way to Fontana at the end of February. I'm Carmen Sienna, joined by me, alongside me later on in this broadcast will be Kristina Ryan as we get ready for tonight's event. It's been a wild weekend and the action doesn't stop here on ABN. We go from a weekend full of action at Daytona up the Atlantic coast to South Carolina. The Darlington Raceway will be here today, tomorrow night, and Friday for HTL action. It's Darlington week here on ABN. As we mentioned, 12 drivers vying for a championship beginning tonight. 33 drivers looking for a race win at a track known to either be a driver's favorite or a driver's complete nightmare. Depending on how you look at this track, usually your fortune will be determined before you even roll out of pit lane. Josh Sosi enters the night as the favorite to be champion, but his work to do for the 81 crew. Currently top of the leaderboard, but it's been anything but easy to get to this point. 3 wins for Josh Sosi puts him level with Brennan Proudfoot and Caitlin Height. The positives out of this so far: Caitlin Height not present for tonight, automatically in a must-win situation across these next couple weeks. Brennan Proudfoot also likewise appearing to be in trouble to kick things off. Does that make the path easy for Josh Sosi? We'll find out. Josh Gaiman, second fastest in the times at the moment. Not a championship contender this season, but looking to play spoiler. He's just ahead in that 96 car, filling in for Arrowhead Racing. Third place, looking very strong, is Bianca Constantinou, who is currently not available for us to spectate at the moment. Bianca Constantinou still looking for her first win on an oval. Has 2 race wins on road courses, one at both Road America and Le Mans. She's the 3rd fastest at the moment. Can the Romanian driver make it to victory lane for the first time at one of the most pivotal tracks on the HTL calendar? Chad Swatsworth snuck his way into the playoffs at Daytona what feels like eons ago. This is a track where his championship ambitions began in earnest. He won this race last season. Can he do it again? All eyes on that 18 car here tonight. 34 cars looking set to do battle here. Brandon Proudfoot joining in super late with 0 practice before qualifying here. He's going to have his back against the wall, but he will be present. You just got to hope that tonight goes well for that 31 crew, as well as it's looking right now for the 81 of Josh Sosi. Also present is the return of Dylan McDonald, filling in the number 90 machine. Rotating cast in the 90. We've seen Angel Santiago, Nathan Estep, Mark Parkhurst, and now Dylan McDonald back in the HTL Cup Series after taking about a 6-week sabbatical. Now present here in the 90. He's got some work to do to get himself back in racing form. Currently 28th fastest, and he will find his way around here, tagging the wall. This track's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. Just ask the former HTL Cup Series champion, Zach Meredith, who enters not able to defend his crown, missed the playoffs. Huge shocker there. Running on board with Zach Meredith here. Give you an idea as to what Zach Meredith's looking at here. Up against the wall already in turns 1 and 2. Or sorry, that's being forward. We're coming to our finish line in 1 and 2. But not a great start to the lap already. As practice winds down. Single lap qualifying awaits these 34 drivers here tonight. You tag that wall like what Meredith's done already. And validate your lap time. You'll be starting at the back of the field. This track is very challenging. It's about the drivers that manage to tiptoe around this track the best. Not necessarily who goes the hardest on their qualifying attempt. Meredith trying to put it together here. See him get loose there off the throttle. And around he goes. This is another thing that'll invalidate your run. You only get 1 lap. And that's not starting off well for Zach Meredith here to get things going. Brandon Proudfoot on track here. A favorite to make the round of 4 and battle for a championship in Fontana. He's got to put some laps together pretty quickly here. The 31 machine gets at a lap time. Representative for anything. Again, he joined in very late with less than 5 minutes left here in practice. Really just getting installation laps in to see what that 31 can get early on here. Not a lot of sighting in for Brandon Proudfoot. Lady Liberty Motorsports having 2 cars fighting for a championship. And both of them looking to be in championship contention. Proudfoot goes 9th fastest as we see him shadow Shad Swatsworth. And huge trouble there. Swatsworth checked up. It's like several cars caught up there in that incident. As drivers trying to make the most of the time that they have here. Yeah, as time continues to elapse here, Josh Sosi is the fastest car on track. Josh Gaiman, 96, though, center of your screen. Gonna try to play spoiler in a big way. Loves this track. Knows how to win here. He's been successful before. Has a lot more meaning now. A win tonight would help his teammate out tremendously. Caitlin Height missing this race. Gaiman now looking to prevent drivers from locking themselves into the next round here tonight. He stands as the biggest threat going into these playoffs. Time elapses here at Darlington's final practice session. Qualifying up next here at Darlington. The Southern 250 qualifying set to be underway. We'll wait to see how everything starts and what everything looks like here as we get underway for qualifying. Pretty well cut and dry for those that are new to HTL qualifying format. Everyone's got 1 lap at a time. Very similar to how we saw Winston 400 qualifying go on Friday. And that's how it's going to be for this event as well. William Britton, looks like he'll be the first one up here. 14 machine. It's not the 14 machine, that's the 68 machine of William Britton at the end of pit lane. He'll be the first one to run a lap here tonight. It'll be William Britton That'll be one of the first ones rolling here tonight. And then Joel Rodriguez after that in the number 91 to get things underway. Just waiting for the go-ahead that we are good to go to start qualifying here. William Britton sitting and waiting as well. More drivers joining the queue here before qualifying gets underway. Again, a huge welcome to everyone that's joined ABN Esports and ABN Studios here in 2024 following a phenomenal weekend of racing, the Winstall 400 that culminated yesterday. Green flag in the air. For qualifying, William Britton will kick things off. 34 drivers. Everyone should make the field from here. It's a matter of where you start. Darlington's a very challenging place. Part of the aura around this track. William Britton will begin the very first qualifying lap. See what his lap time looks like. Got to hold it steady out of turn 2, which he's done. He's got to keep it steady. Turns 3 and 4 a little bit tighter. Then turns 1 and 2. Very tidy lap though. William Britton's going to set a lap time here. Didn't get a set a lap time at Michigan. 29.787. He'll kick off the qualifying session there. Joe Rodriguez up next. And he is in the wall. We get examples of both worlds. What it's like to tiptoe and what it's like to miss out. Caleb Carter up next. Driving the 05 for Stepping Stone Motorsports. Let's see what the rookie driver can do. See what he adheres to, whether he adheres to the William Britton's method. Tiptoeing around 3 and 4, trying to keep a tidy lap. Or trying to find the utmost speed. He's going to find the wall. And this will be an immediately done run. And he's going to pull it off here before he even attempts to even take turn 3. Blowers in the 10, filling in for Selena Thompson. Puts Blowers in a charter ride. Trying to make things happen here. He'll take start finish line to start his run. Let's see if Blowers can do what Caleb Carter and Joe Rodriguez could not. Very close to the wall there in turn 1. Got it back away from the wall in turn 2. On edge here, could be faster than William Britton. It's about turn 3 and 4. Shifts down the 4th gear there. Keeps it tidy on the bottom though. Really good run through 3 and 4. 29.559 will put him top of the board. Now it's about his teammate for Ascent Racing. We've already seen 2 Ascent cars go. 1 hit the wall. 1 went top of the board. Where does Flores go? To the wall and into the back of the field. Be surprised he gets away with that one. He's going to try to complete this lap. Really high there in 3 and 4. Completely different than what Blowers just ran. Good exit there, but I don't think this lap's going to count because he tagged the ball in turn 1. We'll see though. 29.693 will not count. That contact with turn 1 was enough to invalidate the run. Up next, filling in for Kyle Taub is the Chevrolet entry of Byron Jones. Byron Jones filling in for Kyle Taub in that Air Force Chevy Camaro. Looking good. Battle lap so far. Up next on the run list sheet, will be Lily Peltier-Sharp. Out of 3 and 4, Byron Jones across the line, 29.7. Net per second fastest. He's on the board. Peltier-Sharp, can she get on the board here? First points race, part of Coast to Coast Racing. After being feature endeavored by Lady Liberty Motorsports. Playoff bound for the first time in her career in HTL. And already in a new environment. See if she can defy the odds. Beginning here tonight. Looking tidy, doesn't look extremely quick. Looks tidy enough to be serviceable though. 29.683, that'll be enough for third fastest. Another, actually 29.7 flat. Puts Peltier-Sharp level with Byron Jones. Hunter Whitlock up next in the 19. And he's going to have a step out slide, but he's going to keep it saved and he's going to keep it valid. If he can just keep this lap put together, he'll still put himself ahead of Flores, Rodriguez, and Caleb Carter, and anyone else that has trouble further on in qualifying here. Tiptoed through 3 and 4. He'll set a lap time not representative of actual pace, but enough for 5th fastest. Pacey Wygen up next in the 24, the second Coast to Coast car to run. Following Peltier-Sharp. Peltier-Sharp went 3rd fastest. Wygen looking to go faster. Big time contender in the HTL Hammer Down Truck Series on Tuesday nights. Looking to play a little bit of a spoiler here in the HTL Cup Series here at Darlington. He's going to have a lot of experience here at Darlington by the time this week's over. Out of 4. That looks like a really good lap time, and it is a really good lap time. Top of the board, 29.380 for Pacey Wygen. For Coast to Coast Racing, provisional pole with Gary Donaldson up next to start a run. The Under Armour number 22. Once again, set to be bedazzling as we enter the dust conditions that this race will be run in. Close to the wall, grazes the wall. That's a very close move there. I'm not sure if that's going to count for a lap or not. Donaldson keeps it low on the exit of 4. If it is a lap, it's not going to be a good lap. And it will not be a valid lap time. Invalid. Donaldson will be one of those joining the back of the field. Now we have Brandon Proudfoot. Oh, not a good lap by Proudfoot. Well offline through 1 and 2. Had to get completely out of it. He's going to be at the back if he can hold it together. He'll still be able to set a lap time here. I don't know if he tagged the wall. It doesn't look like he did. But not a good lap time in the 30-second range. He'll be just ahead of Hunter Whitlock, but just barely. 30.599 for the 3-time race winner this season. Season 2 champion up next, Matthew Boone, podium. Last time we saw him at the All-Star race in Pensacola. Loves this track, excited to be here, wants to play spoiler. See what he can do on this lap. Casey Ellis up next after him. Ellis in the 12 machine. Keeping it tidy, a little bit looser on turn 4 for Matthew Boone. Unloaded awkwardly, but it's going to be a very quick lap. Top of the board lap is what it will be. 29.374 for Matthew Boone. Provisional pole as the track continues to improve. We could see even faster laps here. Ellis up next in the 12. Filling into the charter owned by Scott Poznansky. A little bit of a throwback scheme for Casey Ellis. A throwback number and font. The squared away design. Wobbly out of turn 4 as well for Ellis. We'll see what he gets. Not a great lap. 32nd lap. 30.229. 7th fastest for the 12 car. With Dylan McDonald up next. The Auto Nation number 90. starting his qualifying run. What will the Hoosier returning to full-time competition have for a lap here at Darlington? Blake Henderson up next. McDonald through 3 and 4. A little wobble there, but seems composed. 29.6, going to be middle of the road. 4th place for McDonald. Blake Henderson up next. Running a traditional scheme we usually see him run. Representing Blankenship Freight Lines. Running a little bit closer to the edge is Henderson. Spurred on and motivated by his podium at Five Flags a week ago. 28.974. No, it's going to be correct itself to be 29.451. Still 3rd fastest. Looked a lot quicker than it was. Tricked our timing system for a second before it calibrated. Still closer to the front than not. Good effort for Blake Henderson. Alfred Denny will try to do the same in the 21. Another throwback scheme here. Throwing back to the Wood Brothers font. Blackwater Suds on that number 21 Ford Mustang. Coming around turn 3 and 4 across the line. We'll go right next to Blake Henderson, provisionally 4th fastest of 29.548, with Kelly Height up next. Once again, in the black, number 3. Throwback for Kelly Height. Slight graze of the wall. Heard the paint come off of that one. Is it enough to invalidate the lap time for car 3? We'll find out. 3 and 4. A little kick out there by Kelly Height. And it will not be a very fast lap time, and it will not count at all. To the back of the field, Kelly Height goes. Ryan Moutre, can he join his teammate Blake Henderson near the front of the field? Track looks like it's getting way faster here. Moutre holding on for dear life. Couldn't hold on there. Tags the wall. And we'll have to head back down pit lane. He will join the back of the field. Hunter Beach missing on the playoffs here. He can play spoiler. This is where he showed up in big time force a season ago. He'll come to the start finish line to start his lap. 2 and 3 somewhere, number 1 car. And he tags the wall in turns 1 as well. Struggling massively is Hunter Peach. And this is, I don't think it's going to be a representative lap time. I think it's going to be invalidated as well. That tag in turn 1 is not going to be friendly for Hunter Peach. It will not count. Zach Apperson up next. Apperson in the number 4. Gone is the blue and yellow, in with the red and white. Really good shot here through turns 1 and 2. Apperson now down the back straightaway. Really straddling that inside lane there through 3 and 4. Looks good though. Looks really good, Apperson does. Unfortunately, I don't think it's good enough for pole position, but it will be a top 6 effort so far. At the time on the board, he's guaranteed almost a top half finish, or top half starting position with how things have gone so far. Josh Arnold looking to do the exact same in that 55 machine. Let's see what the 55 car can do. Down the front, the back straightaway here into turn 3 and 4. Josh Sosi up next. Arnold out of 3 and 4. On the limit here. Not going to be a bad lap time. Good enough for 6. We'll jump ahead of Zach Apperson. with Sosi now on the call. Brandon Proudfoot went a mere 13th place. Did Sosi just tag the wall there in turn 1? Oh, it's very close. Looked like he almost did what Callie Height did in turns 1 and 2. Down to 4th. Trying to manage the engine braking and keeping RPMs up through 3 and 4. What's the lap time going to look like for Josh Sosi? It looks really good. And it is good. To pass the eyeball test, pole position provisionally. 29.249 for Josh Sosi. Zach Meredith up next, the defending series champion. We'll watch someone else take the crown at the end of this season. But can he play spoiler? Darlington's a rough and tumble place. It'll humble you quicker than anything else here. Zach Meredith goes third fast. Another good lap time, 29.377 for Zach Meredith. Provisionally third position with DJ Trout up next. Number 20 for Stepping Stone Motorsports. And it tags the wall. Trout will not set a lap time. He's going to finish this lap just to see what comparative stake would be, but it will not count. And qualifying will move right down the order towards Kevin Gibney Jr., the number 8 machine. 29.894 is what that lap would have been for DJ Trout. Kevin Gibney Jr. now running. Here we go. Giving you a little loose out of there, turn 2. Down the back straightaway towards turn 3. Let's see what lap time he can place down. Through turns 3 and 4, down the front straightaway to cross the line. 14th place, but it's a lap time that is set. Next up, third fastest in practice, Bianca Constantinu. Behind the wheel here of the 61 Monster Energy Ford Mustang for Stepping Stone Motorsports. Youngest playoff driver in HTL Cup Series history. Looking to become its youngest champion. Cross the line. Constantinu will go second fastest. Will not be able to beat the time set by Josh Sosi. Can Jeremy Breo, a 2-time winner of the ARCS Southern 250. Can Jeremy Breo grab pole position in the 88 for Carolina Beagle Racing? Through 3 and 4. Former ARCS A Cup Series champion gets really loose, had to lock it up. There goes that lap time, but it's still going to be a lap time set for Breo, 16th fastest. What could have been there for Breo, but it's a lap time that still puts him ahead of several drivers here. Moutre, one of those drivers not able to set a time. Here comes Josh Gaiman, second fastest in practice. On board with Arrowhead Racing, can he spoil the party for Josh Sosi and Bianca Constantinu? On the outside, looking in, trying to get to the front row. Looks good out of 4. Is it good enough for provisional pole? It is! 29.207. Josh Gaiman goes top of the board with only a handful of cars left to run. Jonathan Adams, one of them. Qualifying was based off of the results from Daytona. Adams will not set a lap time. This lap will not matter. Selena Thompson Giving Blowers her ride for Ascent Racing. Will step into the 33 for Carolina Beagle Racing. Drive what appears to be a powder pink or a matte pink in camo Chevy Camaro down the back straightaway. Seems like it's either the exit of turn, it's either the entry of turns 1 and 2, or the exit of turn 4 that gets drivers here. Thompson ran the outside, looked a lot more stable there. Not going to be good enough for pole position, but it is a lap time set, 13th fastest. Nathan Estep up next. The 94 Ford Mustang. And yes, Wadsworth up next after this. E-step. Through 3 and 4. Across the line. It looks like a really good lap time. Not enough for pole, but 4th fastest for E-step. A really good run in qualifying for the 94 car. Swatsworth up next. His teammate, Josh Gaiman, just went fastest in qualifying. Does Swatsworth join him? Out of 2. We have one driver remaining, that's Lilac Zier. Swatsworth through 3 and 4. Trying to get to the front row. Can the number 18 do it? Cross the start finish line. It looked good the first half of the lap, and it looks good second half of the lap. Pole position for Chad Swatsworth. Can Zier deny him pole? This is going to be interesting. Zier through 1 and 2. Can Stepping Stone deny an Arrowhead front row? Through 3 and 4. Looks a little bit too timid there through 3 and 4. Cross start finish line. Oh, it's going to be a close lap time for Zier. 10th fastest, not enough. It's an Arrowhead front row. Toyotas lead the field. Wow. Big stuff there. Absolutely insane stuff there. And now I believe drivers will have a few minutes left here to get things dialed in and ready for race time here at Darlington for the HTL Southern 250. It's an Arrowhead front row, Chad Swatsworth and Josh Gaiman, that'll lead things off here. That got intense at the end. Again, for everyone spending your Monday evening with us here on ABN, welcome to the HTL Southern 250. Welcome to the HTL Cup Series playoffs. For those tuning in, I'm Carmen Sienna. Joining me in the booth for the race is a driver, a woman of many accolades, world champion, stock car champion, Screen to Speed finalist, broadcast producer, now joining the list of job titles here. Kristina Ryan will join me in the booth here for what's going to be a very interesting start of the HTL Cup Series playoffs. It's showtime here in South Carolina. Playoffs start like this. Josh Gaiman looking to play spoiler, but his teammate Chad Swatsworth looking to go from sneaking in on points to an easy round of 8 advance. All you got to do is win. That's easier said than done in this competition where so many race winners have come this season. Kristina, this track is very, very difficult. We've seen it time and time again. What are these drivers looking at here tonight, and what really makes the difference between a really good driver and a really good car and an early exit and a move on to next week at Talladega? Make sure we got audio set up here. Not sure. Let's see if we can get Kristina's audio fixed here. Give us a moment. Not hearing a lot there from Kristina. I see where her microphone's active, just for some reason we can't hear her, so we'll try to fix that. We'll ask her that question again here in a couple minutes. Give us 1 second here. As we wait for that to resolve itself, again, welcome to the HTL Southern 250 here at Darlington coming up here. 250 miles of racing as we get ready to go. Wait for Kristina to see if her audio issues get resolved here momentarily. It is Josh Gaiman leading the warm-up practice here. Gonna be a very busy warm-up session, getting everyone ready to go. As we get ready to go here tonight. Practice times on the board here. We'll show a little bit of the warm-up times here with time ticking away. Josh Gaiman fastest. John Hagan second fastest. Hagan did not get a set of lap time, so he'll have to start from the back of the field. That would be an interesting story to watch and develop, to see how John Hagan moves to the field. Typically, when he's having to move to the back of the field, it doesn't bode well for him. Let's see if he can change that tide here to kick off the playoffs here. It's our heart. It's going to be looking a little bit tough to get things started. Let's get into it. Let's look at the HTL Southern 250 starting grid. Chad Swadsworth and Josh Gaiman, it's Arrowhead Racing teammates front of the field. They will lead this field to green. All Toyota front row. In row number 2, it's Josh Sosi and Bjorn Constantinou. 2 more playoff drivers looking to punch their ticket in to the round of 8 tonight. The earlier they can do it, the better, with Talladega looming large next week. Row 3. Nathan Estep, Matthew Boone. Very interesting top 6 here. Estep in 5th. Matthew Boone, the Season 2 Series champion, in 6th position, doing well to carry that momentum from last week at Five Flags Speedway. Zach Meredith and Pacey Wygent in row number 4. A good run there by both of them. Row 5, Blake Henderson and Lilac Zier. Henderson, top 10 qualifying position. Same with Lilac Zier. Henderson missing out the playoffs for the first time in his career here in HTL. Now looking to play spoiler, motivated more than ever. He's got a top 10 start to try to make something happen, and it's going to be tough to charge forward in this group. Row 6, Alfred Denny and Bobby Blowers make up the top 12. 13th to 14th is Josh Arnold and Zach Apperson. Row 8, 15 to 16, it's Dylan McDonald filling in the number 90, and Selena Thompson moving from the 10 to the 33 for the playoffs. Byron Jones and Lily Pelletier Sharp in row number 9. Row 10 is William Britton and Kevin Gibney Jr. Row 11, Jeremy Breo and Casey Ellis. Row 12, Brandon Proudfoot, Hunter Whitlock. Row 13 is where you start seeing some of the drivers that did not set lap times. John Hagan, Hunter Peach. Hagan will have to start at the back of the field to serve a penalty here tonight. Eli Sask, Ryan Moutre, row 14, row 15, 30 cars here. DJ Trout and Elias Flores out of 35 possible cars here. Joe Rodriguez and Caleb Carter in row 16, row 17, Jonathan Adams and Gary Donaldson. And rounding out the very back of the field, it will be Callie Height in row 18. Almost showtime here at Darlington. It's a Toyota front row with playoff drivers scattered throughout the field. The round of 12 begins tonight in South Carolina. Darlington, Talladega, Chicagoland. The 3 races in the round of 12. Action-packed start to finish in this round. If you're in the round of 12, it's easy. Win to advance. That's the goal for Swatsworth, for Sosi and Constantinu sitting in the front of the field, and Nathan Estep there in 5th. Tied at the front. We'll see how this goes. Pace car pulls into pit lane. 35 cars ready to do racing on one of the most historic tracks in stock car racing. Green flag is in the air. The HTL Southern 250 is underway. And Swatsworth immediately got clear. A little bit of team service there at the front of the field. Side by side behind them, though. Constantinu in the favored line. But still side by side with Josh Sosi. And around we go. The first of 183 tours around the Darlington Raceway. Sosi gets clear for 3rd. Estep holds on to 5th. Boone in 6th. Everyone getting single file except the further down you go. Still side by side, Blowers and Meredith. Trouble further back. That was a car going the wrong way around. Not sure who that was. It looks like that might have been Hunter Whitlock. It was the 19 of Whitlock, and it looks like William Britton involved as well. No caution. Byron Jones also involved. Trouble for Brandon Proudfoot. A playoff driver in trouble. As everyone beginning to find the pandemonium that this track has been known for. Tag of the wall there by Breo, 38. In front of DJ Trout. Stays ahead of the 20. Staying caution-free to kick things off here. Just behind, Caleb Carter trying to get around. That is the 12 of Casey Ellis. Ryan Moutre in shadow as well. 64 of Hagan. Already up only 1 spot in this race compared to where he was supposed to start. All the incidents have been happening behind him. He's trying to get around the outside. He'll tag the wall as well on the outside of Ellis. Inside lane, not the place you want to be in turns 1 and 2. How much do you want to flirt with that safe barrier in turns 1 and 2 is the magical question. Ellis sinking like a stone. As things get underway here, Swatsworth continues to lead the way over Josh Gaiman. Josh Sosi in 3rd. Henderson with the fast lap of the race in 8th place. Just lurking beyond this group. Constantinu all the way to Wygent in front. Henderson not too far away, riding up with him. See what he does here, riding on board with the 25. The Blankenship Freight Lines Ford Mustang sitting 8th place, up a spot from where he started 9th. Shadowing the 24 of Wygent. Through 3 and 4. Really good run of form for Henderson to kick off 2024. He's trying to add to it. Almost a race winner in the HTL National Series last Friday. Seems like confidence is slowly coming back and building in that 25 machine and the 25 camp. For Tombstone Motorsports, closing in on Wygent. He'll side drive the 24, entering turns 3 Can he close off on that position? Side by side with the 24. They'll both slow each other down here out of turn 4. Henderson crosses the line with 7th in hand. Trying to make things happen, trying to squeeze Wygen out of that 7th position, and will do so. Henderson up another spot. But Wygen closing back in.
Too.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome Kristina Ryan to the booth. For the HTL Southern 250, it's been a chaotic start here in Darlington, but it's been green flag running to kick things off. Very counter to what we expected to see, what we saw last season, where it was cautions and bunches to kick things off. A lot of maturity between Daytona and tonight, as we've seen throughout this season. Obviously, we talked about the incident point limits that came into effect mid-season in the regular season last year. Obviously showing their hand here tonight at Darlington Raceway. Kristina, this is obviously the race underway here. This is a track that many drivers, you either love it or hate it. It's a very polarizing venue. What makes it so difficult for these drivers? And obviously now getting into a flow of it, how do drivers now start making these passes happen like what Henderson's been doing with Wygen?
It's really tough. It's one of the more narrow tracks. You think it looks so wide, but as far as actual racing room goes, it's one of the most narrow tracks on the calendar. You got to take advantage early on before the tires get too worn. There's two real trains of thought, is to make the moves now, as you see Blowers making a move on the 25 of Henderson. Your two options are either use up your tire early on in the start of the stint, or really try to save your tire towards the end of the stint and then pass everybody once they've burned all their stuff up. But as you see Henderson, it looks like a little bit of latency there between him and Blowers. Blowers is going to get the upper hand right now. That's actually going to open the door for Meredith as well. Taking advantage of other people's mistakes is also going to be a really big deal about how you make up positions on this racetrack.
I see the ebb and flow beginning here at Darlington Raceway. The first 11 laps caution free so far. Looks like it's side-by-side battle in the top 5 between Estep and Constantinu. Constantinu's dropped back a little bit, being pressured by Estep. A little bit further back, it looks like that may have been Dylan McDonald. No, not McDonald. That's Alfred Denny. That was way below. No, excuse me. That's the 68 of William Britton, who's already a lap down. Caution's out for Jeremy Breo, who is almost wrong way around on the Boeing back straightaway. Hunter Peach also involved further down the road. Same with Ryan Moutre.
Quite a bit of damage on that 44 machine as well.
This is a
not sure whether this is related or not, but
we're going to see here. This is Jeremy Breo. This is where the caution came out, and it looks like the issue between Peach and Moutre is going to happen afterwards. Oh, that is off of the 8 of Kevin Gibney Jr. who tagged the wall. Breo just kind of followed him. Breo keeps it pointed against the wall here.
I think it was everybody kind of spinning in sympathy after the fact there. It was Gibney Jr. hitting the wall and losing all that momentum right in front of the leader, or right in front of the cars directly behind. Nowhere there to go.
Hunter Peach tagged Breo and broke his suspension. And then
and
Moutre did the same thing.
To Moutre. Yeah.
That's really unfortunate there for Moutre. You've had a lot going on there. See if we can ride on board with the 44 of Moutre.
Moutre thinks he hasn't missed. He missed the first bit of the crash and almost missed the second bit of the crash, and then just ran out of lanes.
Yeah.
Picked the right lane. I think there's a bit of net code involved as well, and a hard impact in turn number 3, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, very unfortunate there for the 44 of Moutre, and that engine is completely done. No fast repairs in this series. Very unforgiving in that in the way that the incident happened there. Under caution for the first time tonight on lap 14. Had a decent ebb and flow going there, but obviously as tires begin to wear, tires begin to heat up, especially those right sides, they will scream and they will pull you right towards the outside wall. This track's called the lane back for a reason.
Yeah, and now you get a heat cycle on them too, so now you're going to have a mixture of tires that are, you know, if you're pushing maybe a little too hard, you maybe overcooked them a little bit. This is a good opportunity to cool them down, but now you're going to have to you know, kind of sort yourself out again when we go back to green, get your tires back up at the temperature, and that's why cautions tend to breed cautions, especially with this this new generation of car. These smaller profile tires, they really don't hold the heat that well if you run behind the pace car for too long. It's pretty miserable on the first couple of corners. So
obviously everyone having a chance to take note of what they've learned and what they've seen over these first 14 laps. It'll be Swatsworth and Gaiman at the front of the field here once we get back underway. Most of the field elected to not come down pit lane on this stop. In fact, everyone in the top 21 stayed out here. If the only time you came in is if you're Dylan McDonald on down, 22nd on down, came down pit lane.
Even then, that's probably just for fuel. I don't imagine that anybody's going to want to waste a set of tires this early in the race, especially with how abrasive Darlington is.
Would you be surprised to know that everyone from 22nd on down came in for damage repair?
No, that makes a bit more sense too.
Yeah, the smallest pit stop we saw there was 23 seconds.
I mean, it makes sense. We talked about a second ago how narrow it is, and just because you know, one person smacked the wall that hard and they wrecked because of it doesn't mean we haven't had a bunch of people doing that and keep the forward momentum going. You can see the cars they just look wide on the circuit, and you see all those lanes to the left of these drivers, but it's just not raceable room. You can't really hook a car up down there. There's no banking down there, and basically those three seams, you see where that dotted white line is, that's the racing surface, maybe about a half a lane below that. Some people go below the apron, but outside of that, it's just, there's not a whole lot of room at all.
Very crowded real estate here at Darlington Raceway for a first restart of the night. Coming to lap 17, it's teammates front of the field once again. Toyotas lead the way. Swatsworth gets it going. And we're back underway. And Gaiman had to be very polite there. Could not switch lanes before the start-finish line. Waited until start-finish. Knew that Constantinu couldn't get a run. Wow. And Sosi's going to bully the 61 car backwards and already cautioned back out. And this is further on back in the field for Dylan McDonald, who already had damage repair. He has spun around. You talk about cautions breeding cautions. Bingo.
Yeah, you got Callie Height there on the left-hand side. Or I believe that's Callie Height on the left-hand side. Yeah, that's the three of Callie Height there in the Paula's Choice number 3 machine. Off into turn number 1, and yeah, I mean, McDonald kind of moves down. They were both kind of looking for the same real estate there. Height didn't stay down there, but McDonald also didn't stay up. Looks like, yeah, there's a little bump down there, like a little divot, and you can really get the car to grip up through there. But obviously, if there's a car on your door, you can't just drive through them. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, they're kind of looking for the same bit of real estate, but it's still early on in the race. Let's take another look at it here. Let's see if we can get a highlighter here. See if we can get the good old teleprompter up and going. Got to use a little bit last night. Yeah. So here we go. This is the area you're looking at, right across the finish line here. Is where you find Height and McDonald. And again, they're getting up through the gears too. They're probably getting up into 3rd or 4th gear now. Again, 5 gears with these cars. Callie does come up off the bottom a decent amount, but it really looked to me. McDonald comes down a lot more than Height goes up. Yeah. I don't know if it was just not sure that he wasn't clear, or just was thinking he had a little bit more room than he did. But yeah, I mean, that's just 2 drivers going for the same spot. It's a really critical place to hook up the car, is to hit down there. It's basically where you aim to put that car. But we're on board the entire restart. Well. Let's listen here and see if maybe it was midway through a shift as well, perhaps. Ooh, he shifts beforehand, but I think he's just kind of aiming. Yeah, just kind of lost it. You could see how he wasn't following the cars in front of him either. He did come down about a half a lane from that top, so. I don't know. I'd say no harm, no foul, but there is some damage to that number 90 machine, but still rolling at least.
Yeah, stay on the lead lap as things currently look at the moment. But not a good way to come back to HTL Cup Series competition. Obviously, he did pretty well decent in the All-Star race, but a little bit to be desired here. And now if you're the race leaders who have still not come down pit lane, 21 cars, all on the same set of tires, did not come down again. Now you've had an extended period of time without putting heat in those tires. How cold are these tires now, and how pivotal is it now to make sure you hit your marks here on this restart?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty awful, to put it lightly. Eventually they kind of hit a point, they hit a floor, you know, they can't get much worse than where they are going to be right now. Maybe one more caution, they'd have a little bit less grip, but you know, it's one of those things that you as a group, you collectively as a group of drivers know that if you just get a couple of laps in, the car comes back to you a little bit, but it's just, you know, that's the nature of these restarts. You're side by side, you're 20 rows deep, you're on one of the most narrow tracks on the calendar. It's just tough to get these cars. These cars are very wide. If it's not obvious, these are big boys. So, yeah, it's really easy to make those kind of mistakes. And again, the rack and pinion steering doesn't help things at all either. It makes these cars sometimes feel a bit disconnected, a bit numb. So you don't feel that car moving around as much either, which means that's why we see so many people this year go through the corner and it just seems like they throw the car away, or they fishtail and then they fishtail for 300 feet before they lose it because they just really don't feel the car breaking free, or it's too hard to keep up with, opposed to the regular box we had back in the day. So, you know, that's just things that these drivers get used to with time. But yeah, we're gonna have to try it again. They did it on the first initial start. Did not quite get away with it this time on the first restart, but now we have another opportunity, and hopefully we can get a couple of laps in and get back to the racing that we saw.
Sad Swansworth, Josh Gaiman, Josh Sosi, Bianca Constantinu, Nathan Eastep, and Pacey Wygent in the top 6. Blowers, Meredith Henderson into your top 10. Through 3 and 4, pace car down pit lane, green flag back out, and Constantinu, way better start that time around. But it's all about your entry through turns 1 and 2, and Gaiman will clear himself across his former car.
Yeah, you saw what Gaiman did there on hit the same thing that we saw Height and McDonald fighting over. You saw how much of a lurch that car got when he hit down there. That's what they were aiming for a minute ago, and that's why that's so important. But yeah, Constantinu kind of figured what Swansworth was going to do this time, because he did it on the last restart and just followed him through, was able to clear Sosi, and you can see now Constantinu hits the little divot down there. That's what they were aiming for. So if it looks like, well, they both look like they're trying to drive off the racetrack, that's why that is. If you get about a half a lane down there, it really helps rotate that car early on in the corner.
A little bit further back here, Zier's falling back like a stone from the top 10. Out as Kelly Height goes around.
She's going to collect
there's the
a couple.
caution, and almost up and over goes the 12 of Casey Ellis.
Yeah.
And that is significant damage to the 3 car, with significant repairs and a long pit lane time incoming. Got away with one, couldn't get the second one.
Yeah, and that one, I want to wait to see the replay, but I think that one might have been a little more self-inflicted. It almost looks like I didn't see anybody directly on that number 3 car, but I believe she may have just lost the rear end there going into the corner.
Yeah, no one alongside of her here. Look, there's 55 of Josh Arnold ahead, the 05 of Caleb Carter behind. Let's play this in real time. We'll get a decent zoom-up camera angle here of that 3 car. Oh, just checks up there behind the 55 of Arnold, and around it goes. Oof, and a good hard hit back there for Breo, too.
Yeah, I'm curious if she collected the back bumper or if she just kind of panicked when she lifted. That is enough to just spin the car on its own, as if it decelerates so suddenly.
See if we can go back a little bit further here. Let's see, we're going to see if we can go backwards just a little bit more into turn 3 and 4 here. think she does tag
so
him a
she
little
just
bit.
drove into the back of him, yeah, and that definitely upsets the car. And then here, I don't know that
I almost
holding.
thought Ellis was going Finn's side there.
Yeah, it almost looked like a wreck we'd see in the Champ Car Series with the wheel-to-wheel contact there.
Give him his preparation for Chicago in a couple weeks.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, that's 2 for 2 for height, I'm afraid, but first one wasn't her fault. I think that one definitely was. But
On board with Casey Ellis, he's not gonna have a fun ride at this either.
yeah, there's really nowhere to go. Again, very narrow. You could go to the bottom. I think that probably would have been, in hindsight, the better place to pick, because you'd see everybody else that made it through there. But I think Ellis maybe was really committed to that outside lane, thought maybe they were piling up on the bottom, and then eventually you have to pick a lane, and unfortunately, Casey picked the wrong one. Yeah, very lucky to not go into the catch fencing there, both for track reasons and for that car would not have lasted a whole lot longer. I think this is on board with who Callie hits.
Yeah, Josh Arnold. Yeah, this is on board with Josh Arnold here, the 55 machine. Well, he feels it.
Yeah.
He wobbles a little bit. He feels it.
Yeah, I think Callie just came in a bit too hot. I think the argument might be that Arnold backed up a little too much, but again, on the cold tires,
You gotta take it easy.
You kind of got to be expecting that, yeah. I think that's one of those things that kind of chalks up to the inexperience on ovals and still learning the next gen.
She's had some ups and downs in that car. She's Callie Height.
Mm-hmm.
That car still got its front end back together, so they got a replacement bumper on there. Got to thank those composite bodies for having some downforce back on the front end of that car before it becomes a modified.
I don't know. I miss the old days when they would just cut the whole front clip off and send it back out there looking like an open wheelie.
That's what we got Sundays for, coming up in March.
Yeah.
We get to relive all of that. And Fridays, the Gen 6s do that too. So. Everyone getting lined up and ready to go here. Cars dropping to the back. It looks like that is the 91 of Rodriguez. A lot of cars are lapped down already, having to get some damage repairs. 26 cars on lead lap. We had 35 start this race. Ryan Mutria already out.
Yeah, deleting the fast repair, I think, is a move that I think is overall a good move, but a move that I think.
It makes tracks like this a lot harder.
Well, yeah, but I think in the same respect, it's going to make it a lot less of a caution fest. I think they made a really good move when they started adding the incident point limits, and I think it's an even better move to take away the fast repairs, because this is supposed to be a very high skill ceiling league. It's supposed to be a very challenging league, and I always found it a bit strange that they had one, sometimes multiple fast repairs.
Yeah.
And that's why we ended up having 20 cautions sometimes, because there's just simply so many cars.
34 cars still running, 26 on the lead lap. It is Swatsworth and Gaiman still at the front of the field. Green flag back in the air, and you can see there Gaiman was able to get clear of Sosi. Sosi on the outside lane that time. That was not as prepared as Bianca Constantinou was for that restart. Couldn't game it up there.
And if you're gaming, you need to be careful not to step on your own toes here. He looks like a very strong car. He's got pace to keep with his new teammate.
Caution's
He's got
out.
pace to... Yeah, you're right. Probably another situation down to 1 and 2.
Caleb
I bet
Carter.
you they probably folded up out of turn number 2.
Looks like it's a solo spin by Caleb Carter. I'll double check here, but he's the only car stopped on the back straightaway.
Yeah, out of turn 2. Looks like it's... I don't know if it's going to unload.
He's
Oh
gonna have a
no,
little bit
just
of help
gets
from
turned in the
Josh
middle of the
Arnold,
backstretch. Oh wow.
and everyone does a really good job to avoid it.
Yeah, okay. I'll eat my hat on that one. Of all the things I would have expected to have happened on a cold tire restart, it would have been getting hooked down the backstretch. But
Let's see if we can get a good look from the blimp camera there. I wonder if
yeah,
Caleb
I don't
moved
know.
up.
Caleb, it's very possible. Either hooked him. He still got hooked, but may have hooked himself.
Let's see here.
This one.
Yeah, he
he
tries
kind
to
of just
fade.
pulls over.
He tries to fade there. He tries to do a pruitt fade. Something we would do in Champ Car. More Champ Car moves here. Showing a little bit of the difference between the next gen cars and the Champ Car machines we're going to see on Wednesdays here shortly. You can't
Yeah,
you can't do the Pruitt fade.
I almost feel like that couldn't have been an intentional move. It seems so early to try and pull a move like that. I almost would almost
I
say he's
wonder
not
if
paying
he target
attention.
fixated to the back of Sassek's car.
Probably,
Because
yeah.
he was following Sassek down and then just realized that, oh, maybe it's not the lane to be in.
Well, again, you're on cold tires. You're getting up through the gears. It's very common for the car to jump out on the
This is
exit
going
of
to
the
be a really
corner
good look
there.
at it here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, you can see all the momentum
he's
Arnold
following.
has.
Yeah, he's following Sassek and realizes that it's not where he wants to be. Netcode grabs him, but it looks like contact was kind of coming either way there with both them, with Carter trying to move back to the outside lane.
Yeah.
And Arnold had a full head of steam.
So it was had an incident that involved two cars, and then the second incident of the day, one of the cars from the last incident was in the incident, and then we had another one where the car in the last incident was involved again. So
It's like
I guess if the trends are
down.
yeah, if the trends are continuing, Caleb Carter is going to mix it up with somebody else here on the next restart. So.
Yeah, he's come down pit lane here on this service. He is still on lead lap, 24th position. Cali Heights on lead lap as well in 25th. Jonathan Adams in 26th. Looks like 27 on lead lap now. Elias Flores getting his lap back. Talk about cautions, breeding cautions. Ta-da!
Yeah, you hate to see it too, because we had a nice little stint to start things off.
They're going to get back into this run again. It's just...
I think so too. It's just, it's always a bit, is a driver specifically, it's so frustrating when you
100%.
get a quarter of a lap in, because now your tires are back to that ice cold situation. It's, I don't know, maybe I get a little complacent, but at this point I stopped trying to warm the tires. I kind of like lose faith in what I'm doing for a bit, you know. It's
and remember, we had a similar incident go on with the Winslow 400 last night, where it was like caution after caution after caution on these restarts.
Yeah.
It was a period was like, okay, we'll just nonstop cautions here. It's similar situation here, and it's a harder track. You know, these cars do not have the slip angle that they used to have. You think about the Gen 6 cars compared to the Gen 7 cars, the slip angle is a lot different. It's a little bit harder. It's almost, you know, we think about the Champ car machines, how once they're gone, they're gone. These cars, they're very similar in that characteristic of once they get out of shape, it's over. And you put 35 of them together at a track that's just a little over a mile long.
But that's why everybody wants to win here, right? Because if you could say, hey, I won at Darlington, I mean, that's a pretty good accolade to have on your resume. It's a very unique track. It's a very tough track, and it's the one that's too tough to tame. Everybody wants to be able to say they've won here. And you don't just stumble into one of these things, so.
Right now, Swatsworth happy with where he's at right now, logging up the laps led, collecting those bonus points. He's got a support in Josh Gaiman there. Only two Arrowhead Racing cars in this field. Kalen Height not present. Neither is Caleb Eichler or Tommy Reynolds. But those two Arrowhead Toyotas at the front of the field, controlling the show at the moment. Stage 1 ends on lap 40, by the way. That's what everyone's trying to race to. Is lap 40 and lap 100. The stage breaks here tonight. Pace car is in. Restart back underway. Constantine on the outside lane couldn't get to the quarter panel of Gaiman to keep him from doing what he just did, and that is get back in that single file form.
She did get down in front of Sosi though, critically, and Gaiman, that's going to check everybody up a little bit. Constantine had to crack the throttle because Gaiman about put himself in the wall in turn 1 and 2.
Side by side further down, this is 64 of Hagen getting around 13 of Peltier Sharp. Or trying to, working on it. We'll get clear here.
Critical point now, we made a full lap under green. The tire temp's still ever changing, but if we can get another lap or two in, we might be able to get, I think we'll be able to get to the end of the stage under green if we can get another lap here. It's just really important to get those good years up to temp.
Everyone jogging for position. Henderson had to check up as a Blowers tagging the wall in turns 1 and 2. And now Selena Thompson at 33 on the inside, trying to make a move here.
Henderson serpentining everywhere. He found the wall in 3 and 4, now kind of panicking to try not to hemorrhage more positions.
Kelly Hyde
I
back
see
down pit
Hyde
lane.
leaving the pit lane, yeah.
Yeah, Henderson now working on John Hagan. They're trying to hold on to the top
He's
10.
about
A
to
little bit of
turn him.
contact. And here comes a 31, Brandon Proudfoot.
Hey, take back what I said about this track not
goodness.
being wide.
Almost 3 in 1 go. Proudfoot wants some stage points. There he goes.
That's a nice little move there. Surprised he almost didn't lose it coming back up. These cars really don't like those direction changes like that. You can't get away with it as often as you could in the Gen 6. Good heads-up driving and
yeah, you look at it right
nice
there.
little move. Yeah, welcome to the highlight reels for tonight.
I mean, the 4 to go in stage 1.
Henderson clears Pelletier sharp. So he finally stops the bleeding a little bit. It's Wadsworth, Gaiman, Constantinu, Wygant, Sosi, the top 5. Oh, wow. Proudfoot nearly losing it there.
Second lap in a row. Hagan and Thompson going at it here.
Yeah, Selena, another musical chairs victim. The number 33 this week.
Actually gave her spot up to Bobby Flowers to make sure Flowers had a charter ride. So more of a courtesy call, side-by-side contact between the two.
Proudfoot's about to do what he just did a few laps ago.
You want to see me do it again?
We got big push there. Yeah.
Running out of daylight here in stage 1. This is for the last set of stage points.
Running out of daylight and running out of room. Hagan almost doored Thompson again.
Still side-by-side. Thompson's in the favored lane. Hagan's just trying to drive it in deeper.
Yeah, I think she would have cleared by now if Hagan hadn't ran her up the racetrack a lap ago. I think that was the whole problem, but now you can see she's starting to feel the pressure too. Proudfoot knows that's the preferred lane because now he's pushing her to try and get around so he can take advantage, and now she finds the wall.
It's close.
And that's going to allow Hagan to clear. That's the risky run. It's better on the top, but there's just, I mean, it's already narrow as it is, but then, yeah. You either get ran into the wall or you run yourself into the wall. It's really hard with how the arc of the corner is in these cars.
Yeah, Hagan got clear for 9th, but it held him up so much he will not have a chance to get anywhere higher. Going through turns 3 and 4, it'll be Shad Swatsworth and Josh Gaiman that lead the way, with Constantinu, Wygant, and Sosi top 10, or top 5, excuse me. Proudfoot gets around for the last spot in the stage. He'll take the last stage point.
And as we thought, once we got a couple of green flag laps and we did make it to the end of the stage, now unfortunately, we get rewarded with another caution and we get to do it all over again, which
I think it's going to change a little bit here because I think a lot of drivers are going to come in now this time to take that first set of tires.
I agree.
Not going to help the cold tire situation at all, but now they're going to have fresh cold tires.
Yeah, but sometimes that's worse. It depends. Not necessarily here, but
if it was like Bristol, yeah, it's gonna be worse.
If you had like moderately worn tires, which all the cautions we did, I don't know, you might have a better launch, a better initial start on these older tires, but it's hard to say. The track surface is super abrasive here, so yeah, I don't know. But that's stage 1 in the books and 140 to go.
Yeah, it does look like everyone's going to come in this time to get some service. Free pass will belong to, I believe, Elias Flores, who went down pit lane one more time for damage, so he got the free pass last time, just has to get it again. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so Zier stays out. Handful of drivers are going to go ahead and try and gamble here for some track position, which is quite important at this point, especially if there's so many cautions.
Looks like Rodriguez was the free pass recipient, the 91. Zier is the only lead lap car to stay out. Everyone else, all 25 cars behind, came down.
Ever the contrarian.
It's not Rodriguez. Rodriguez is 91 front. It was Flores that got the free pass.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like Zero ever the contrarian. Well,
Zier came in at 24. So it
well,
looks like
true.
Zier might come in this time. I don't know. No, she'll stay
No, it
out.
looks like she's pretty committed to staying out.
So she's gonna try to take you up on that offer. Had that better launch. However, it's a almost 60 lap run. It'd be a really bad point to have a green flag run now for Zier.
Well, sure,
Which is why
but
she's
I mean,
gambling.
yeah, you look at the trends here. We're probably going to have a couple of cautions, if not immediately, definitely throughout. I would be very impressed if we made it all the way to the end of the stage with no cautions. I sure hope that kind of thing happens. Nothing against Zero. I like green flag racing, but I would be very surprised if they make it the whole stage. I think for her, it's just to lead some laps to get herself into a better track position. If we go 10 or 15 laps, more people are going to elect to pit, and then she can pit too, and, you know, boom, you just gained 15, 20 spots for doing nothing. So that's the mindset. Now, Shad Swatsworth's going to be a bit upset because now that means that he's not going to have a perfect lap record tonight. But yeah, I think the problem here is that again, it's so narrow, depending on the pace differential here. She's probably got, what, 10, 12 green flag laps on those tires by now, so they're not useless, but they're going to be worn. She should be slower on the restart, so they're going to have to negotiate that behind her. It's her job to hold a predictable lane, and it's the job of everybody behind to get around safely, but how many times has it said that, Carmen, and it's not worked out that way? We've ended up with a 20-car pileup because somebody was on old tires and everybody stepped on each other's toes.
Going to one to go here.
Thought.
It's gonna be interesting to see. We know what Zier can do. Obviously, now a race winner in HTL. Won the last points race at Daytona. So now she's playing with house money.
It's what she does best. For a lot of people, when they do this move, they're kind of panicked. They're thinking, well, I don't really know how this is going to go. And I'm sure Lilac's also thinking, well, I don't really know how this is going to go. But she doesn't get scared when she pulls these kind of moves because this is exactly what she does. This is her wheelhouse, as you said. She's playing with house money, and I mean, why not? She was sitting in the mid-lower teens, and she fell back a lot on that initial restart. So, good opportunity to try and put her hat back in the ring here.
It'll be Zier, Swatsworth, Gaiman, and Constantinu. Top four. Josh Sosi did not have a great pit stop. He's down in 9th place on this restart. Pace car is in through the Geico restart zone, and away we go. Zier got a really good launch, as he said. And now Arrowhead Racing teammates are going to block the road and try to work together here.
Yeah, currently squabbling about with each other. It's gonna.
They're trying to hold up Constantinu is what's going on here.
Unstoppable force meets immovable objects. Zier will hold on to lead the first green flag lap of stage 2. So how long will she be able to stay out there? And if and I assume when she gets past, how much is that dirty air going to hurt her momentum? Well, it's going to be interesting to see if she falls gracefully through the field or not, as Constantinu gets squarely out of turn 2.
A lot of cars finding the wall there in 3 and 4 E-step. Wygen and Blowers all tagged it a little bit there.
Darlington Stripes.
Constantinu gets loose. Dropped down behind Wygen.
Yeah, it seems like she's struggling on the fresh tires right now. Swatsworth gonna have a look for the lead on Zier.
And Game is gonna follow suit here pretty quickly. Yeah, Zier had that good launch, but now it's time to pay the debt.
Yeah, and keep in mind, like we said, she was down in the mid-teens, late teens, so...
Down in 18th, yeah.
Yeah, so even if she falls to like 15th, 13th, I mean, that's still a net gain for her.
Whoa!
She wasn't... Wow.
That's E-step and Hagen.
Yeah.
That both saved it. They drifted through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But a save.
It looked like they were coming out of pit lane, how low down the racetrack they were. Oh, but Hagen's still struggling for sure. You can see as he pushes up the hill.
Yeah, almost tagged Apperson there. Hagen will go down from 8th place to 17th. All that work he did in stage 1.
Critically. Yeah.
Yeah, all the work he did to go from 24th as caution comes out here. And look here, looks like Byron Jones
13 laps down as it is, yeah.
I don't know if he
already a handful of laps behind. Is that a car going down the pit lane on the backstretch I just saw? And the pit's big fella, relax. I don't know. Interesting.
Let's figure it out here. This is Byron Jones, the 16 car.
Heavily wounded.
Yeah, he's
just loses it.
Good old fashioned.
Now let this roll out, because here's my confusion. Look to the right-hand side of your screen. Now who is that? And what are they doing down there?
That is Ellis. That's Casey Ellis.
What? Casey, are you lost? This is the old backstretch pit lane. We don't use that anymore. Haven't used that in a couple decades.
It's been a little bit.
I wonder if he got tagged. Oh, did get some help. So that's probably what well, there were 2 crashes in one there. You see Height gets a piece of it. I think that was Donaldson as well.
And I was like, yeah, sure, fine. I'll just go down here then.
Well, all right then.
Surprise.
Makes a little more sense with the context. It's not every day you get lost in a HTL racetrack, but KCL is showing that it's still paved down there and you can still drive a motor vehicle down the backstretch pit lane.
Back at the front of the field, it's status quo once again.
Has Zero boxed, I wonder?
No, Zera's 6th.
So she fell several positions while that was all going on as well, because she was up into... She had only fallen to 3rd, and now she's lost a handful more positions in just another lap. So she is committing to it, though. She seems to be content to stay out, which...
she needs more of these.
Yeah, I agree.
She needs more of these to prevent the hemorrhaging, because she's going to have good launches. But now we know what the deficit is, and the deficit is going to be worse and worse and worse as this run goes on, if we get longer runs.
Well, if she takes care of her stuff, it could equalize a bit, but I think like she's trying to push it another 10 or 15 laps so that she could try to make a pit stop with everybody when they all come into the pit lane, for example. So, yeah.
We had 2 lead changes in this race, 6 cautions, 5 for incidents. On lap 52 of 183.
Unfortunately, about not quite a half, but about a third of the race, has been under caution thus far. My little brain working overtime to figure out what a 5 and a 2 is, but but we did have a couple of good green flag stints, namely the very initial start was a nice green flag run for about 10-15 laps, and we had, I guess, an 8-lap run to the end of the stage. But this is fairly expected. This is kind of your standard fare for HTL. You get a nice little green flag run and then a bunch of cautions, and then you get a green flag run that just so happens to go to the end of the stage, and then you have a bunch of cautions. It seems like the stage racing kind of just sets us up for these little caution fests at the start, and then usually it starts to thin out. We thin the herd, drivers get wounded, people leave the race, and eventually we get some green flag racing. Not that it's been a nightmare, it's been nothing quite like some of the other events we've had in the past, but also it's a bit expected here.
See what the field has in store here for the 6th restart of the night. It is Swatsworth, Gaiman, Wygent, Constantinu, Blowers, Zier, Meredith, Sosi, Proudfoot, and Thompson, top 10.
You can still see a pretty healthy field in the background as well. Granted, we're losing lead lap cars at a rate of knots, but there are quite a few cars, while heavily wounded, still on track to collect points. And otherwise, excuse me.
We have a few cars out of this race, 4 cars out at the moment. Casey Ellis, Jeremy Breo, Hunter Peach, and Ryan Moutre will watch this field go back into turn 1 under speed. And it's the Arrowhead Racing Special at the front of the field at the moment. As it were, Wygen will try to challenge though. Gets clear of Constantinu just barely.
Like a glove there. That was a very, very brave move.
Whoa, 3 wide. Zier in the very bottom of the racetrack, just trying to get out of the way, because now that tire deficit's going to be huge. And you're seeing Zier already from 6th outside the top 10.
Yeah, she doesn't have that clean air. She didn't get that initial jump that really helped her. She's really going to be struggling with the grip here. She's going to be freight trained. Just got to be careful not to get ran over and not put yourself in a position where you're going to get ran over. See DJ Trout ducking around like it was the last lap at Daytona trying to find a lane to go by. But that's the one thing she can do. She can elect to make that car awfully wide, but that's not really in the Lilac Zier playbook. She usually doesn't do those kind of things. But here's John Hagan still trying to make things happen in the 64 machine.
Stuck behind Eli Sasek right now in the 9.
Gonna have another look at the inside. It looks like Zier may have equaled out now a little bit. She found a little bit more momentum. I think she might have had a mistake that really kind of amplified things on the restart there, because now it seems like she's back up to pace. And again, Hagan, I don't want to sound mean, but every time Hagan gets to the inside of somebody, it's about 2 corners before he ends up dooring them. Really using a lot of the racetrack up. And
really aggressive racing right now.
Yeah, that's not gonna make people happy with you, especially on a place where tempers do tend to flare. If he keeps that up, he's gonna end up in the fence, I think.
A little bit further back in the order here, Elias Flores back on lead lap, getting around William Britton. Blake Henderson also down at the very back of the field, down 15 spots from the start here.
Yeah, I had some, well, we saw him struggling a little bit, but now you can see, I think, maybe some of the frustration setting in. Still rolling though. I don't think there's not too much damage on that car, but we saw him hit the wall a little bit earlier and have some big moments, so I think he just kind of on the back foot right now. Not dissimilar from what we saw from Hagan.
Linus Stern, Zier, Sasek, Hagan, and Estep just outside the top 10. This is 11th through 15, or sorry, 12th through 15th as Zier tags the wall. And now the hemorrhaging begins again for the 50 car, while Trout and Peltier Sharp side by side. Hagan and Zier make contact.
Oh goodness, yeah. Zier's gonna basically lose about 4 or 5 spots there. Hitting the wall was what started that whole thing for her, but then the contact from Hagan really didn't help things.
Yeah, Zier's
and
gonna
now
fall
she
backwards.
can't find the.
Oh, that's very sketchy there.
Yeah,
she's
she
got
tried
no
to fill
momentum.
the hole. Yeah, she's in a terrible lane right now, and she's got those worn tires. She has to have the room on the racetrack to scoot around and let that car fade. Yeah, I mean, that's just, I don't think that the gamble quite worked out for her, but can't say she didn't try it. Led some laps.
Peltier Sharp and DJ Trout battling for the last stage spot right now.
Oh, we got
As
one around in the
they
back there.
stand, that's Sasek in the wall.
Keeps it going in the right direction, so no caution, but he does find the inside wall all the way down there and will rejoin behind his teammate in the 91.
Not where he wanted to be. It gives Hagan a clear shot now. They'll look at the top 10.
Yeah, he's got to be patient, though, with as aggressive as he's driving.
Talked about it in the power rankings that came out earlier today. When it rains, it pours for the 64.
Yeah.
As Trout finds the wall. Hey, you'll take another free spot.
Yeah, it makes it look easy there, because it was. Nothing's easier than passing a car in the wall at this track. It's basically a get out of jail free card because it would otherwise be a heck of a time to try to battle it out, as we've seen already today. We've seen people go side by side for laps at a time. It's usually once somebody hits the wall that they lose that position.
Finding some ebb and flow here once again. Getting some green flag running in. It's teammates at the front of the field. It's Swatsworth and Gaiman 1-2, with Wyden and Constantinu 3 and 4.
Gotta say, Pacey Wygent putting on a great show so far tonight, sitting in that third position. Of course, not about to lose it as I said that. Sorry, Pacey fans, but
oh, he takes the wall there too.
I'll just shut up and crawl back under my rock.
You've just wow, you just
well,
you just kicked him in the foot there.
Egad.
And he lost 2 spots. Look at this. He's lost 2 spots with 1 go. The commentator's curse right there.
Under fire from Sosi now as well. Is trying to hold on to that 5th position, and Sosi's going to have a look. And again, it's just, you just need to not hit the wall. It's a lot easier said than done, though, with how this track is, how the surface works, everything about it. It looks like, you know, it's easy to sit there and be like, well, they're driving in too hard. Well, that's true, but you get in the race car and turn a few laps around here, it's probably going to be a not fun time for you too, I'd imagine.
Whoa, Blowers got really loose.
Oh God. That wasn't very smart, but I don't know that he really had a choice.
Yeah, I think Blowers was trying to keep it out of the way, and luckily we kept it green there.
Tell you what, Pacey Wygent didn't miss a beat, took that advantage, is going to try and challenge Sosi back. Doesn't look like it's going to work, but give him an A for trying.
In fairness, yeah, 2 drivers with 3 wins apiece that just got by. These are the 3 championship favorites right now that just got by. Just hanging with them, not a bad deal. Not a bad deal.
Yeah, it was pretty quiet in the early part of the season too. Really only started showing up lately, showing what he can do, being up towards the front. Yeah. Not that he was terrible, just kind of was a quiet start. Becoming a bit more of a perennial threat. Yeah, exactly.
Meredith, defending series champion, just behind in 7th place. A good run for him so far.
Good company up here in the front.
Yeah. A lot of playoff drivers in this mix. Defending series champion, not in the playoffs. Will not be able to defend that crown. Blowers in the playoffs.
And that stings every time you say it, Carmen. He's going to watch the broadcast back, and every time you say that, it's going to be like, oh.
It's going to sting a lot more when the Bills lose in the playoffs next week.
I don't know what that means, but yeah.
To the select niche of fans that are watching live, you'll get it. And this will either age like milk or age like fine wine. No in between. But Wygent stuck right in the, almost evenly in the middle there. As caution's out for the 7th time. Trout in E-step and company.
Oh,
several cars involved there. That is Jonathan Adams, it looks like, involved in that as well. And Trout's race is done.
Oh, yeah. Curious how much you want to bet that might have started with Trout finding the wall. He'd done it a couple times. I'm not sure, though. Oh, this looks like it's another...
Oh, Peltier Sharp gets a little loose.
It just lost it, and everybody ran out of room.
Yeah, it closes up tight there in turn 2. A lot flatter with turns 1 and 2, and it tightens up a lot more 1 and 2 as well.
Yeah, it's funny because you want to hit the divot down in 1 and 2. You don't, or in turn 1, you don't want to hit the one down in turn 2 because that's what'll happen.
Yeah.
Oh, hard lick.
And there's no A-step, just bounces off of it, and
oh,
Trout's nowhere for him to go. And that car is completely killed.
Hit.
Jonathan Adams gets away without a lot of contact there. Peltier Sharp's going to be wearing some scars from that. Same with E-step, and obviously Trout's day, after being top 10 for a decent part of it, now over.
That's a shame too, because we saw Trout in the wall about 3 or 4 times, and the car seemed fine, all things considered. It was just minor contact, and then unfortunately I think that may have cost him in the end because of all the momentum he lost. He got stuck behind some of those cars, and it's all she wrote when they start wrecking in front like that. There really isn't anywhere to go. You come out of that corner, and it feels a lot like Dover when you come onto the back straightaway. You've got all that room, but you can't use all of it. It funnels up so hard. And unfortunately, Peltier Sharp overcorrected the car as well, so now she's perpendicular in all 3 racing lanes. You have all that momentum carrying you, and like I said, you can't go low because then you're going to wreck like Peltier Sharp did. You're going to catch the seam, and it's going to be the banking differential, and you're going to send the car around.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you who this bails out is Lilac Zier, because now she can pit, because a lot of people are coming to pit lane this time, and she can kind of reset and get herself back on even footing. She's fallen to 20th as a result, so I don't think it worked out for her, but she didn't lose a ton of positions either, so I guess fair enough, fair play.
Wonder that does stay out on this exchange. Guess who? Good old William Britton.
Another contrarian in the field who's made some big things happen by doing whatever the leaders don't do.
He's going to try to make it to lap 100 here. Looks like we'll be going green with 25 laps to go.
Yeah, we did have a nice little stint there, didn't we, Carmen?
Yeah, clocked away some pretty good laps there. Got a little bit more data for everyone for the last stanza, which is going to be 83 laps in this third and final stage.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! That's Peltier Sharp.
Wrecked in the
That's Peltier Sharp who came up with a flood of steam and just put it in the fence.
Yellow. I mean, surely there's probably some mechanical damage from the contact she made. It was a pretty hard whack, but that's unfortunately a bit more like the Peltier Sharp we saw last year versus the Peltier Sharp we saw in 2023. Last year being 2022. Interesting.
I think a little bit showing a little bit why the Lady Liberty Motorsports future endeavored her at the end of the regular season. A little lapse of judgment there that, as a playoff driver, you just can't afford.
Especially when you've already made a mistake. That's going to compound the issue, but interesting. I guess fair play, at least stuff it in the wall and hurt your own car versus if you need to kill speed versus plowing in the back of the pack. So I guess if you're going to shoot your foot or somebody else's, might as well shoot yours, but still interesting. I would watch Constantinu on this restart. It could get pretty spicy here, I think, especially if Britton and Swatsworth manage to stay side by side through 1 and 2. We know she's fiery. She's got a lot of aces up her sleeve. Gamon's going to be a bit hungry to get some positions back as well, I reckon. It's on the 68's call. And green flag back in the air, and I jinxed it again. Constantinu had a horrible restart.
Absolutely bad restart there.
Yeah, as they try to sail off into 1, it is going to be Sosi and Swatsworth that are side by side, though, squabbling about on the fresher tires. As Britton by himself out front does the same thing we saw Lilac Zier do, and there goes Proudfoot, using the lanes that only belong to him. Oh, and nearly loses it, almost 3 wide in a way. Not quite 3 wide, but thought for just a moment. Big wiggles, but keeps his foot in it and makes some really monster moves here to get around Shad Swatsworth, who now finds himself the furthest down he's been all day.
And not a great restart for either of the Arrowhead Racing cars that have tried to dominate the front of the field. They knew the track position was where they wanted to be, and now they don't have it. William Britton leads the way, but it's about to be the Josh Sosi so. Say that 3 times fast.
Not even going to try. I'm too tired, but yeah, no, Sosi does make the move. Nice little slider there. Pacey Wygent going to try to be pretty urgently get around that 68 machine, as will the 31. Proudfoot looking really quick. Again, this track's kind of right up his wheelhouse, isn't it?
A little bit. Looking for race win number 4 in the season.
Britton finds the wall a little bit there. Simply, this is exactly what we saw with Zier. It works for a couple of laps, and if you can keep it off the wall, you're usually in decent shape, but it's just the battle, isn't it? And you can see basically it gets moved by Shad Swatsworth now. And here comes everybody.
Whoa, that was further down in the back. Who was that? That was Kevin Gibney Jr.
He's been a busy boy today.
Another really good save. Saw that car shoot straight to the inside.
Mm-hmm.
So he's had fastest lap, so he is hauling the mail.
Well, that's the case. Why'd my package get delayed?
Unfortunately, I haven't. Oh, whoa,
crashed
trouble.
on the back there. Big hit. Oh,
that
and it's Damon and collects quite a few more. Britain's going to sneak by. How on earth is that not a caution? Gaiman gonna try to get rolling here. Looks like he lost it out of 2. I'm not sure if he had help or not, but he smacked the inside wall and came all the way back up and collected everybody else. Here. I mean, he's done for the day.
Oh, this is gonna be hard.
Lose it on his own?
Yeah, he lost it. He lost it right there on the seam.
Well, it doesn't matter what car you put him in. Gaiman's worst enemy is himself.
Yeah, it doesn't
pushing too hard to keep his teammate.
Just rides the seam. And
I don't even know if that was the seam. He just lost it, and then he overcorrects and then flies back into traffic.
Oh.
Very unfortunate for Apperson. Good heads-up driving by William Britton. However, unfortunately, he's going to lose so many positions from that. I don't know how that wasn't a caution, but...
Yeah, that's wild, because these are iRacing cautions, so they would be automatic if they happen. And now it's Lady Liberty Motorsports 1-2. The drivers that were ranked 1 and 2 in the power rankings are sitting positions 1 and 2 firmly.
Yeah, they definitely didn't mean to do it, but that was a bit of a clumsy trying to save the car wall to wall there. I'm sure Apperson's going to be thrilled with that one. I believe that was Apperson that he hit, yeah.
Yeah, the Ford Apperson, the one that got completely clobbered, yeah.
Yeah. He's probably going to be sending the bill your way, Carmen.
I'm used to it.
Yeah, I think that's contention-wise probably day done for Gaiman with a green flag pit stop like that to repair damage. Probably has a meatball. If the trend continues with what we've seen, Gaiman may just call it a night. Which I don't know if you want to do that as a play. Well, he's not a playoff driver either, so yeah, he's probably absolutely gonna call it a night.
And then there was one for Arrowhead Racing, Shat Swatsworth, who's still in the top 5, sitting 4th at the moment, not doing bad.
Yeah, he's chilling. He's been strong all day. Just had a kind of a poor restart. You can see he's right there fighting with Wygent in the background while the battle rages on between the Lady Liberty drivers. Another team that saw their fair share of heroes and zeros thus far this morning. This morning? This afternoon? Just goes to show
out here.
Yeah, it just goes to show how hard it is to have a whole team perform well in a race, though, Carmen. It's how many times have we seen it where it'll be 2 drivers out front battling for the lead, and then the other 2 are on fire upside down in the catch fence, or vice versa.
No, you don't say. I've never experienced that before in my life, ever, ever. Not a clue.
Proudfoot trying to size up Sosi here. I really do think Proudfoot's the faster driver and gets a really nice run there. He really likes to send that car down on the inside, down the backstretch.
Makes it look easy.
Yeah, Sosi kind of powerless to defend on that one. I would imagine the 31's going to start scooting away, and probably, if it stays green, I'd imagine that was pretty much the pass for the stage win. You can see the gap already growing here, unless he burns up all his stuff, but I feel like Proudfoot's a bit smarter than that. But so is Sosi, so I don't know. But we saw Sosi kind of extend a gap early on. I think he elected to use some of his tires and get away from the pack, so I think this is where Proudfoot's patience is paying off a bit.
Proudfoot charged to the front of the field from 23rd on the grid.
And Wygent's scooting away from Swatsworth, so definitely doing nice in the 24 car as well. I know last time I talked about him, he stuffed it in the wall, but back up into the podium places. Nice recovery and doing quite nicely still, so clearly it didn't hurt the 24 car too much outside of momentum. Swatsworth having a nice run. Honestly, a a really good run he needs to have. It's been a very long time since we've seen Swatsworth have a good day. It feels good to see him back up into the top 5. I think Hagen behind to round out the top 5 as it stands, if I'm not mistaken. So we see Swatsworth tagged the wall, and yeah, Hagen just in the background there. So aggressive or not, still quick for the 64 machine, and I think Swatsworth might be struggling a bit with the tires here because it looks like he's getting awfully tight. He's only got to go 11 more laps though to make it to the end of stage number 2, which has clicked off just like that, Carmen.
Yeah, once we had some green flag laps going at that first stage, everyone was going through and going through the teething pains. We've had a couple cautions here in stage 2, but a lot of green flag running in between. Everyone finding that vibe, finding their momentum, finding that rhythm. Car in the wall, penalty sharp, going a lap down, and Swatsworth will make quick work, getting right at the opportune time on the front straightaway.
Yeah, we're about the halfway point now as well. The attrition obviously setting in. Only 20 or so cars on the lead lap. Starting to see who your players are at this point. We've lost probably 10 cars from contention as well, so.
Josh Gaiman is still rolling, so he's not called it quits yet. Sask in pit lane for extended repairs right now in 24th. Carter in pit lane for extended repairs in 28th. Trout's day is done. Kelly Heights' day is done. McDonald's day is done. Casey Ellis' day is done. Breo, Peach, and Moutre all out. Bowers is in pit lane now. Oh, he's towed.
Oh, wow.
That is a huge crash for Blowers. That wasn't a go to pit lane. That was a come to a stop at pit lane.
Well, it looked like it was on fire, too, the way that it was parked down there. I'm not sure what happened to the 10, who was running there about the periphery of the top 10.
Oh, no,
looks like he was trying to. Oh, he had damage. He hit the wall, I think. And oh, my goodness. You could see the way the car was crabbing. I think he might have hit the wall, and it broke the suspension.
Oh, you see the back of the car. The back of the car is the big example there.
It was Pelletier Sharp again.
Oh,
and
no.
Hank slaps the driver's side against the wall. Oh, goodness. He comes up with such a head of steam. Pelletier Sharp smacks the wall. That's the worst place to catch. And it's absolutely destroyed.
We're going to get a good angle down here. Obviously, looking at the replay. That skew there. Oh, trouble for the back. That was Gibney involved as well.
Yeah.
So contact all over the place. Yeah. Obviously, Blowers completely towed the back of that car. It's so hard.
Yeah,
and you just can't get turned in time, especially if you're trying to get the brakes there.
Well, it's one of the hardest pit lanes in the entire league on the calendar, and to do that when your car effectively looks like it's ready for Formula Drift, you're not going to make it.
And another issue, Bianca Constantinu has had an issue. What happened to the 61 car? When it rains, it pours. As turn 2. Another really good save just to keep from having further damage, but that's rough.
I know it's off the racing surface, but I'm surprised these aren't bringing out yellows with how many stationary cars are on the track. I'm not complaining. I'm just finding it a bit interesting.
Yeah, and then we'll go to a place like Chicagoland, and the moment you sneeze on the apron, it's over.
Yeah, if you take too much slip angle, the caution comes out.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunate for her. She was very strong, at least early on in the day. I think she was starting to show. I think once we got the green flag runs in, I think the pace was starting to show a bit. I think that's probably what forced her into that mistake, trying to find some extra speed where it was just not available. But yeah, that sucks for Bobby Blowers, but his day was done anyway. I think the pit lane incident was just insult to injury. Yeah. When your car's broken that badly, you're not getting back out on the racetrack.
Oh,
another one.
And Henderson just got into the top 10. He's in 9th.
I tell you what, Zachary Apperson is still, as Henderson hits again, Apperson's right behind. I wonder if that was net code for Apperson on that contact with Gaiman, because...
Yeah, he's running good.
Yeah, he's never really fallen out after that, so I think that might have been a net code contact.
Apperson counting lucky stars right now.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. He's probably praying to whoever he believes in right now, because that 25 car is all over the place in front of him, but... Henderson's got so much pace. He just keeps making those little mistakes, and this wall out of turn 2, it comes up on you so fast. I feel like if Henderson drove at 98%, he'd be in the top 5 every week. It's just, I feel like he gets in his head because he's having a bad season. He's trying to make up for lost time. He's trying to make up for lost pace. And he always seems to force himself into an unforced error like this. And it's not even a large error. It's just these small things that put him further back in the field, and then that's when he gets caught up in big stuff.
He's just trying to hold on and score some stage points here. His teammate
Which
there
is
in the
the
4,
end of the
Apperson.
stage.
Former series champion Matthew Boone, the 28. There's the 55, Josh Arnold, who's finally found himself some clean real estate on the final lap of stage 2.
Couple of the old guards gonna battle it out for this last position. Although I don't think Boone is close enough to make anything happen.
And Henderson will hold on to 9th place. Boone will take the last stage point as the caution comes out now to end the stage. Now that the 10th place car has crossed over. Josh Sosi wins the stage over Proudfoot, Wygant, Hagen, and Swatsworth.
Interesting that Sosi got it back from Proudfoot there for the end of the stage.
Yeah, we missed it there a little bit there as we were looking at incidents that were littering the back half of that stage.
Yeah, something must have happened. I don't know if Proudfoot burned his tires or maybe made a mistake. We know he's been pushing it on the edge quite a bit there, but to lose that lead, interesting. Still ends up with P2 though, so still solid points haul, but...
Two stages in, one giant stage to go.
Yeah. Tell you what, William Britton ends up 15th when it's all said and done after he did his gamble on that restart. So,
Taking off for him. Big
yeah,
time.
and that's even with smashing the brake pedal to let Gaiman explode in front of him. So,
Yeah.
very nicely done there. And of course, Zier up into 14th now, so she's made some gains. Of course, a lot of the cars, a lot of this is just not getting involved in crashes. We are losing about half the field now as far as being in contention. So, you know, to finish first, you must first finish. I think it'll be 100 years in the future and we'll still have drivers that don't understand that.
Now we've entered the final stage here at Darlington. And that matters not who you are, matters not where you start. What matters now is the walk you walk to kick off this stage.
Sosi wins the battle off pit road.
Proudfoot once again in front of the field.
Hagen beating
Wygant. Yeah.
Wygant out of pits.
Swatsworth's 5th. Meredith, Adams, Thompson, Henderson, Boone. As they finish stage 2, they will begin stage 3.
Tip of the hat too to Selena Thompson. She's had a few issues so far today, but nothing major. She's been doing a great job
Under the
in
radar.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in the top 10 pretty much all day. Smacked the wall a couple of times, but other than that, really hasn't done anything too egregious aside from nothing more egregious than what we've seen the leaders do at the very front of the field on a really difficult track. She's coped quite well.
Yeah, she's done a phenomenal job so far in this race. However, knock on wood, that stays that way because this is typically either the stage where everything is very calm and cool and collected, or it's chaos.
Yeah.
It's one or the other. We've already had a chaos stage. We had a chaos stage in stage 1, so maybe they'll be kind to us, especially with Talladega coming up next week. Let's kick the can down the road at least a week. Let's put all the chaos next week.
Oh, yeah, so let's get it right. You want to say let's save the chaos and then double down at Talladega?
I mean, it's playoff Talladega.
Carmen, what do you think they're gonna do? Add blowovers to the next gen? Steve Myers.
It'd be worth the price of admission.
It sure would. But
have to see if we can get Keenan back up here. Let him
get our first ABM blowover. Yeah.
But you still haven't had one. That's right.
No ABM blowovers. Yeah, the day will come at this rate.
So ABM is taking applications for a COT league.
Oh my goodness. In the over decade-long expansive history of ABN, who will be the first one to do an aerodynamic flip down the back straightaway at Daytona?
If it's not you or Emily, I'm gonna be disappointed.
I'm gonna be disappointed anyway, because it probably won't be me. I'll probably be the one who gets turned and get light, but not go over. If you're gonna crash out, it might as well be spectacular. Oh, if it's a
that'll be the
COT
ultimate.
lead.
That'll be the ultimate dagger.
That'll be the ultimate test that I'm getting old.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I've already got gray hair. I don't want to hear it.
Well, you know, they make hair dye for that.
Yeah, might invest in that.
Yeah.
Also, you invest in whatever the leaders have got right now. Lead Liberty Motorsports, once again, dominating.
Freedom, that's what they have.
I guess right now they got
Or
the freedom
something like that.
They got the freedom to dominate this restart because they got Wygent and Hagen behind. They can dominate. They can kind of do whatever they want to. They can do what Arrowhead
Freedom
Racing
of
did to
track
start.
position. Yeah. They can go pretty much wherever they want here.
Yeah. We'll see what happens here. Sosi with the control. Proudfoot to his inside. Green flag back in the air, and Wygent was on it.
Brilliant
that was
timing,
good.
Casey.
That was really good.
Very impressive. He read them like a book.
Yeah, and Proudfoot couldn't even stop him. Has to just
he's
slot
flustered too. Yeah, look, he's losing momentum. He really did not expect Pacey to
look at
outsmart.
Wygent. Look at
Pacey
him go.
gonna go for the lead.
Wygent was on it from the start.
Come on, son, get in there.
Wygent's like, I'll take my first win here. I'll love that.
Oh man, he get a little bit
contention.
loose, but we got a race now.
Absolutely.
Not that we didn't before, but that's a brilliant little move from Pacey Wygent. We're going to be seeing more of that, I have a feeling, in HTL with time.
Yeah, he's already,
lots of talent.
He's already a championship contender in the HTL Hammer Down Truck Series.
Trouble
for the back.
That Hagen?
And that is trouble. That is. It looks like Denny. Boone. It looks like Denny and Henderson.
Denny and Henderson. I saw the red and white. I wasn't sure. How did that not bring out a yellow? Henderson's doing donuts down the backstretch there, getting that car pointing in the right direction.
Talk about misery for the 25 camp.
And look at this. He's crabbing too. He's done.
Yeah, that's nightmare fuel right there. We'll go back and look at it. This is out of turn 2, and he just loses it early.
Oh, it was an unforced error. He almost had it, and it was Boone. And then Denny lost it on his own. They all had... It's almost like there was oil on the track or something. They all just screwed up together. Three different screw-ups all in the same corner.
In trouble even further on. Obviously, we're going to go back to live pictures. There's Henderson right now. Gibney and Flores have had an issue as well.
Yeah.
And it is popping. Again, no cautions here. And once again, out of turn 2. What happens here? Ooh, Gibney just squeezes up there into Rodriguez.
Oh, my goodness.
Nowhere for Flores to go. And this is about as close to a caution as that should have been a caution because he's over that hash line.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Well, Darlington is pretty notorious, using my old little memory here, what little of it I have. This track has been pretty notorious for just being very lazy on cautions in the iRacing sim. So, and again, there's no admins here, no live admin. That's the rule they went with, for better or for worse. All cautions are on iRacing. It's kind of a hands-off thing. If you want to get mad at anybody, be mad at the game.
Well, yeah, because you think about how race control was handled last season. It's a blameless, it's transparent.
Ball and strike, yeah.
Yeah, it's a transparent system now. We're going back to iRacing where everyone knows what the issue is here. It is now, unfortunately, you have the issues now where you have multi-car crashes that if they're not above the hash mark, they're not being called.
But you know what? I'm not complaining at the moment. I do worry because my complaint isn't that the caution came out because I want a caution to come out. The complaint is when there's cars in the middle of the racetrack that really, really could, cause some huge problems. But
yeah.
But it is a catch-22 though, because it does give us more green flag racing, which is ultimately better product. So I don't mind it. It's just sometimes it's a little sus. Those ones where it's a one-car spin. Yeah. Like you said, we'll go to Chicagoland and somebody will just have a little too much rear toe, have the slip angle be slightly too high, and the game's going to think you spun out and throw a yellow. So, exaggerating, of course, but...
A little bit. You have to be on the apron.
Well, I mean, think about last night. We had iRacing cautions as well, and the caution came out for the first wreck of the day with Howe and McGee. Nobody even spun out in that. It was the wreck behind them that they wrecked, but the caution came out before that, and nobody actually spun out. So,
yeah.
Meanwhile, here we've got cars spinning all over the place and no caution. So, just luck of the draw.
Speaking of luck of the draw right now, Zach Meredith in the top 3. Where did Josh Sosie's had an issue?
Oh, he has? Yeah. Oh, my God, you're right.
Sosie is out.
Wow.
Oh, dear.
So has he had a mistake, or is he throughput?
I can't see at the moment. It looks like he entered pit lane. Oh, he may have tagged the wall.
Well, we see people
I see him entering pit lane here.
We see people hit the wall a bunch.
Let's see if we can go backwards and look at this. Oh, whatever happened in turns 3 and 4, I think.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
Oh, there it is. Oh, he just lost it racing with Pacey.
As you're
Didn't
looking
get
at
hit. Oh, he just lost it in Calamity Corner, and bam. There you go. I mean...
That is heartbreaking.
I mean...
If you're Caitlin Height and not in this race, that is best case scenario. Some of the favorites are now with minimal points gain.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's huge, though, because it just shows how tricky. I don't know what's going on out of turn 2, but you can see even Proudfoot struggling with it. It has just gotten everybody today, and Sosie now drops to 19.
It seems like the colder it gets, the worse it's getting.
Yeah. And it's only amplified by the next gen and the problems that this car has in the sim, at least on the fixed setups. It only gets amplified by that.
Yeah.
We talked about it at the top of the show. Here. Yeah, he's floating around. He's still got some pace. I think he's just fallen off a bit, had some mistakes. But no, we talked about it at the top of the show, Carmen, about how the rack and pinion steering, you don't really feel the car lose grip. You don't really feel connected to the car. It's very hard to understand. Obviously, you can't, on the sim, you can't feel it in the seat of your pants like you could in real life. Here, you're really relying on what the steering wheel is telling you and what your eyes are showing you. And your eyes are showing you that you're starting to lose grip, but you feel none of that in the wheel. So you kind of have to do guesswork, and that's why we see so many people overcorrect and come flying back across traffic, because, you know, they'll turn. Typically, you turn until you feel the force feedback bite, because that's when you're fighting the slide, right? Well, not with these cars, not the case. You're almost just kind of guessing like the force feedback was never on at all. It's very weak. And there's ways to fix that, but yeah, it feels very sluggish, and it's probably one of the biggest complaints that people have about this car, because IndyCar rack and pinion steering, of course, and the Champ cars, they don't have power steering, so that's where the differential is. It's rack and pinion, but it's direct. It's 1-to-1, so you feel every little bit of that, to a fault, even. But here, it's rack and pinion power steering, so it's just kind of there. It feels like, I guess the best way to describe it is if you've ever sat down at an old arcade machine, like Daytona USA, for example, and it just was broken. There's just no force feedback in it. It's just a limp wheel. That's pretty much what the next gen's like.
Some drivers exciting with that more than others. Brandon Proudfoot, one of the drivers with 3 wins this season, leading the way right now. Wygent and Hagan rounding out the top 3. Swansworth is also going around Zach Meredith, who spent a little bit of time in the top 3. Swansworth, you want to talk about a race that he needed, came in as one of the drivers that needed a good showing in the round of 12. One of the last drivers that made it into the playoffs. He's going to be leaving this race in the top 6.
Yeah, he's done a great job tonight. If it stays the way it will, if it stays the way it is, I should say, then he's going to be absolutely thrilled with that. He needed to have one of those days. It could be a start of a Tony Stewart-esque run for him, where kind of sneaks into the championship, and then all of a sudden when it's go time, it's go time. But I'll tell you what, Pacey Wygent's still hanging with Brandon Proudfoot and not like losing him even a little bit. He's been there the whole time. I think obviously they're both probably saving tires right now because we have a green flag pit stop if it stays this way to the end. But Pacey Wygent has really impressed me tonight.
Yeah, for those that have not tuned in and seen his performances in the HTL Hammerdown Truck Series on Tuesday nights, this is what Wygent can do. He's a championship contender for a reason. He's got multiple race wins under his belt now. He's an underrated talent, and I think now that we're in the final stretch here of the HTL Cup Series season, that talent's beginning to show itself in form here, and he's done a fantastic job of that. Closing in on Proudfoot, who's beginning to struggle a little bit, being pressured by Sasek even, with it looks like that's Peltier Sharp up ahead.
Well, Sasek's trying to get his lap back, so he's probably pushing a bit hard right now. I think Proudfoot might be controlling the pace as well. We know that's something he's very good at doing. I would be a bit nervous in this kind of situation, but Peltier Sharp does the nice thing, gets out of the way and lets the drivers go for it. But yeah, I think Sasek's pushing quite hard because he'd like to get his lap back, but he is in the lucky dog position right now, so I guess he doesn't have to. He could also just be riding, and Proudfoot's just really taking his time because, again, you want to save your tires for the right time. There's still 40 or 50 or so laps
almost
to go.
60 laps to go, yeah, 57.
Yeah. Still quite a ways to go and one pit stop left, so.
Proudfoot had a little bit of a death wobble there at a 3 and 4 that he saved.
You know, he's been doing that all day long, and it seems like he's one of the only drivers that's been able to be on top of it. His luck may run out if he keeps pushing it, but I think that's where he's found so much speed. It's not dissimilar to what we see from Via Constantinu on the road courses, where it looks like every corner you're about to throw the car away, but you just find more pace.
Now, I think it was with Proudfoot, especially the battle at the front of the field that's warming up. Pit stops will be on its way. I don't think drivers can make it the entire stage without making a pit stop here.
No, there will. Yeah, there's no way. And even if it's not for fuel, I feel like with that many laps, the tires alone would be worth it because we saw how much of a disadvantage
difference there was in tires. Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking tenths. We're talking seconds per lap. So. And this track's fairly short. It's a very long pit road, but yeah, I think it's a no-brainer. You're going to have to make one pit stop even if the fuel would make it. Though some people, if the fuel would make it, they would stretch it for sure, but I think with the pace they're running, especially with the abuse that Proudfoot's putting on those tires, he definitely is driving with all the body language of a man who's going to make another pit stop for some fresh boots.
Sasek definitely pushing, though. Applying the pressure. Hounding that 31 car right now. Wygent 1.5 away.
Yeah, Wygent's only just now starting to lose touch a little bit, and it's not even that bad. Just starting to lose a little bit of the gap there between him and Proudfoot, but we see here is that Apperson and Thompson.
Yeah, they're going to change positions here. That is Apperson up to 8th place. William Britton comes down. So pit stop for the 68. Will be the first to blink. And with 53 laps to go, that should be enough to get him to the end of the race.
Yeah, again, another contrarian kind of strategy call here. He wants to get the fresh boots on and make up as much position as he can. He's probably going to lead several laps of this race, all things considered. Well, I don't know how far back he was actually when he made his pit stop, but could end up inheriting the lead of this race for a short period of time as a result.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be the fastest car on the track, but everybody's going to have their eyes on that because now they're going to see Britton and go, okay, you know, if Britton goes out there and runs a lap that's 3 seconds a lap faster, I don't think it'll be quite that extreme, but if he goes out there and runs a 1.5 seconds faster a lap, everyone's going to start thinking about making the move to blink. This is where you get into that standoff and everybody's looking at everybody and everybody's waiting for the move, but someone's got to make a move.
51 laps to go.
Everybody's standing around waiting to make a move, but no one's making a move. Where have we seen that before, Carmen? Well, it's getting a little deja vu.
I feel like I've been here about 24 hours ago.
Yeah,
just a little further
like
south.
That. Unfortunately for us, Justin Melillo isn't in this race, so.
Yeah. Well, we got Blake Henderson.
Well, yeah, well.
Henderson trying to avoid going even further down here.
Well, this is what's going to get spicy now, is that they're going to be fighting over, or I think he's already won down, isn't he?
No, he's not. He's only lap. He's the last car lead lap
okay,
right now.
So, yeah, this is why Sassek's trying to get the boot scoot boogie going, because he'd like to at least be the lucky dog. I think he would like to. They're going to battle for position here, and that's why Henderson's probably going to fight pretty hard, because he knows that he's the last car in the lead lap. He's looking at the lead lap right in front of him, so, or right in his mirror, so.
Ralph's got to tiptoe. He's got to take his time. Luckily, he's got the ability to do so. He's pulled away. Wygen's fallen behind Hagen, and that's 2.5 seconds away. So Proudfoot can't tiptoe here. It's not the other thing
about this. The other thing about this too is that if he's managing his pace, he's going to have more tire anyway, and it's more beneficial for him to not push now. Catches that seam through turn 4 though. See a couple more takers in the pit lane, but those were some cars that were already wounded. I believe that was the number 90 machine. You can see Proudfoot trying to work on the 25, and will do so. So now the fight's going to be on behind, and you can see Sassek wasting no time. Well, actually he is going to waste a little bit of time there, trying to figure out what lane he wanted to go for. That is the battle for the lucky dog on your screen between Henderson and Sassek. And I imagine Sassek should clear pretty handily here. And I think Henderson just hit the wall, so yeah, that'll...
Insult to injury there for Henderson.
Actually, I take that back. I think Sassek's several laps down, isn't he?
Correct, yeah.
So Henderson still is the lucky dog, so I guess they're just kind of fighting to fight. It makes you wonder why Sassek was running so tight to Proudfoot if there was not much of a reason to, other than, I guess, just to be there. But, okay. No harm in that. I just, the way he was racing, I would have thought he was only one down. My apologies. There goes Hagen in second place. I think Wygen may have had a moment because he's lost quite a bit of ground. Both the Hagen and Proudfoot, so I wonder if he may have gotten loose. I don't imagine the tires would have cliffed that hard, but been wrong before. Hell, I was wrong 5 minutes ago when I thought Sassek was on the lead lap, so. We're getting down to 40 to go in about 4 laps time, so about 44 to go at the line. The laps are clicking off very quickly under the green flag here after what has been a sporadic start, one of the HTL classics where it's a bunch of cautions, then a short green flag run to the end of stage 1, and then a couple cautions, and then a little green flag run, and now we get to the end of the race, and it's, you know, the race part of this. So, yeah, we are looking like we're going to be gearing up for green flag pit stops here. This track very lenient on not throwing yellows. Everybody getting very spread out. But here's the thing. This is the hardest pit lane to get in and off of in the entire calendar. We've seen many races make or break in this, either from speeding or that dreaded pit wall. Heck, we had somebody driving down the wrong pit lane earlier today, so a lot of things to keep an eye on here, but they will be blinking sooner or later to try to make something happen. And another thing to keep in mind is if a caution comes out, there's only 12 cars on the lead lap right now. So some strategy gambles could pay dividends.
Keeping on this battle for the race lead, Hagen is closed in 3 seconds. Now less than a second away from Proudfoot with pit stops looming. There's the gap, 64 just off the edge of the screen, 31 center of your screen, and a lap car in the middle.
Makes you wonder if Proudfoot's still got anything left in the tank here to respond, or if he's maybe caught a little off guard. I mean, you could see Hagen visibly close the gap through 3 and 4 that last time. It was kind of alarming how quickly he came up on them. Maybe Proudfoot trying to go really long here. Maybe he burned up some of his stuff building that gap earlier. There's a lot of things that we just don't know at the moment. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. This is why we love that green flag racing, because things like this can play out. Kind of rewards people who saves their stuff, or people who strategically use up their tires at certain times to get advantages here. And it looks like Sasic, I thought he was going to come to pit road for just a moment, but it looks like he's going to just dip to the inside and get some air.
Yeah, Proudfoot just trying to control the pace of it here. And Hagen's gonna have a little bit more trouble because he's got an advantage, but he's got 2 cars to get around here. It's not just one-on-one.
And Sasic has not been a very kind back marker.
No, and not going to be. Sasic and Hagen do not care for each other at all. And,
well, he does get out of the way there, actually, so sportsmanship prevails above all.
And now Hagen's gonna let it rip.
He's got to be careful not to push too hard, though, because all I can think right now is that Hagen thinks he's got it made, but if Proudfoot stays out 10, 15 laps after Hagen pits, you know, then it's
kind of over.
Yeah. You can definitely see that Hagen is driving it a lot harder right now. It's just a matter of whether or not he's got the tire in the bank account to do it, really. And you can see here comes Proudfoot in the pit, so it's actually the opposite.
And here's the thing, they're not the first ones in. Swansworth, Apperson, Estep, Meredith, Thompson, Henderson, Denny, all in.
Really well done there by Proudfoot to get it into the pit lane, too. That was a huge move, and yeah, now you can see it's very busy. So what does Hagen do? He will lead his first lap of the day. I feel like you have to.
Does he come down pit lane this time?
Yes, he does. No, yes.
Yeah, he's looking like he's... Oh, he missed it. He
might be in too hot.
Oh, he's definitely missed it.
Big slide. He's nearly going to hit the pit wall. That is not what you're wanting to do, but he got it in there.
Talk about cutting it tight.
Yeah, golly, he probably gained a lot of time doing that, but good Lord, he really let it all hang out there, didn't he? Pacey Wygen as well. Josh Arnold now inherits the lead.
Make sure that Hagen didn't get a penalty there. That's one way to make up the deficit. Yeah, there he goes. He's rolling, no penalty.
To be fair, I don't think there was anything wrong with Proudfoot's pit entry, though. He did it nice and tidy. It didn't look like he was being too cautious either. It just seemed like...
it looked like with
Hagen went for the 1 in 100 move, and it just about worked out for him.
Yeah, I think with Hagen, that was one way to sort of clear up being on the other side of that being on the overcut there. He's still going to lose out to Proudfoot here because Proudfoot's got those tires warmed up. But yeah, that was one way for Hagen to try to close off that gap from that overcut because he knew he was going to have a deficit there. He's closed it off a little bit.
Yeah, that was oof. Yeah, but it's one of those deals, though, where making it to pit road might not even be the hardest part of that. Because when you have a moment like that, Carmen, your heart is pounding in your chest because you're... Look, we all went, oh, my God. You, as a driver, are screaming every expletive you could do as that yellow wall approaches you faster and faster. You got to do turning and braking and shifting just to make sure you get down to the right pace speed. It is so tough. And then you got to...
Hagen's back down pit lane. He did not get away with it. Oh,
well,
no.
There you go.
That's the dagger. He didn't get away with it.
I wonder if if it was speeding on entry, it would have been...
I wonder if it was
in the box. I wonder if it was on exit.
I don't know if it was on exit or if it was the unsafe entry.
Well, if it was an unsafe entry, he still would have been serving that penalty in the pit lane. He had to have gotten that penalty on the exit of the pits.
I don't know. That's rough. That is heartbreak.
Yeah, I'm not sure if...
Let's see if we can take a look at it here. Let's see if we can find that and see what happened, because now it's Proudfoot's pretty well on hold. Wygen's 7.6 away. So not really that close.
Typically if it was an entry issue, his pit box is far enough down that the game would have registered the penalty and given it to him on the way in. You know what I mean?
So we're going to take a look here. This is in the pit lane.
Unless it was supposed to be a pass-through hold or a stop and hold. But if it's a stop and hold, usually they do that when you're in the box. So I don't.
we'll see here. You can't cross above that hash mark before the exit of turn 2. Let's see how greedy Hagen got with it.
So there he is. It didn't look like he sped on exit.
No, it didn't. Let's see here. Does he? No, he's very well clear of it.
I don't think so. I wonder where that must have been.
It had to have been an entry. It had to have been that unsafe. It had to be unsafe pit entry. It had to be.
Yeah, I mean he was flying in there, but I imagine it would have given it to him beforehand. But I guess, you know, if it was an unsafe entry, it would have been a stop and hold. So maybe it was a whole nother pit stop. But typically, I think they tend to do that when you enter, but I guess not for that kind of thing. But it looked like he stayed under the yellow line. So
where does? Yeah, because we're gonna see the cone there.
Yeah. He's in.
Yeah.
So, and if it was speeding on entry, he would have been
immediate. Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been an immediate hold. So I didn't see anything wrong with that. I wonder where that penalty came from.
Yeah, but that's going to put him all the way down in 14th, well off the lead lap now.
I feel like it must have been speeding by maybe a mile an hour or something, you know? It had to have been something very minor because there didn't look like there was anything wrong with his pit entry or exit other than the fact that it was just hairy. I don't know, but really another what if for John Hagen, isn't it? He looked like he might have had a real good chance to take the fight to Proudfoot. Not now. And he is not even 1 lap down. He is 2 laps down, so he is completely out of the fight at this point. Yep. He's going to have to settle for a 14th at best.
Yeah, puts him down below Blake Henderson.
Who, by the way, is going to have a nice day, all things considered.
Yeah, he's actually, I think, about to be... Yeah, this is a battle for 11th, right? It's battle for 12th right now between Henderson and Denny.
Yeah. More of the old guards we talked about earlier.
Donaldson's right up ahead, too, so really 3 cars in this battle there, almost. Lilac Sierra just behind, 4th place on the lead lap.
Almost 2 decades of sim racing experience there, yeah.
Obviously,
yeah,
there's nowhere she can go because these are bound for position.
But Adams sneaking up into the top 3 now. I mean, not sneaking, has been up front all day, but moving on to the podium now for the first time, taking advantage of everybody else's mistakes. And only, it's getting tight there. You just get the inkling that Zier would like to get around this and go after Adams.
Just a little bit. Oh, there's Henderson tagging the wall just a smidge. A little bit further down the order. Battle between E-Step and Swatsworth. This is coming up 2-0 too.
Yeah.
And E-Step with a heavy head of steam to take 5th place away from Swatsworth, who's still going to have a really good day, all things considered, with that stage 1 win, stage 2 points.
Oh yeah, and then pretty well set for a top 10 as long as he doesn't make a mistake with how things have fanned out. I think he's going to have a very good day out of all of this.
Still watching this battle for outside the top 10 right now.
Oh, Henderson is just struggling so hard right now.
Still wounded, yeah.
That's good news for Zier because now clearing 1 means that she can pretty easily clear the next. With 23 to go.
9 cars on the lead lap. Wow, ooh, right below the hash mark there, trying to get clear of Denny. And Henderson's
almost scared Denny into the wall, yeah. I think Denny almost, I don't know.
Watch out, watch out! Whoa!
There's a save there, but not a save for, was that Brea?
That's Adams!
It's Adams, it is. Oh, what has he done? Did he do that on his own?
And he's coming down pit lane.
Podium. Oh, what's happened?
Oh no. Let's look at Jonathan Adams here. Oh, he's already in the wall.
Already happened at this point.
And it's again out of 2.
Calamity corner. He just dropped it all on his own. Never could quite get it back.
Tags it just a little bit, and it's that front impact right there. That'll seal the deal.
That's so unfortunate.
In pit lane, there's Hunter Whitlock in pit lane, multiple laps down as well.
Yeah, Adams will go 1 lap today down. At all. Still could salvage a decent finish, but heartbreaking not to be on the podium when you've only got to go 20 more laps. Everything's so spread out at this point.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of just survive to the end and you've got a good finish. It's just a shame. I think Estep and Zier and Swatsworth, Apperson, that might be a spicy little meatball by the time this is all said and done. But I think between those four, that's probably the only top 10 battle we're going to see. I don't think that Pacey quite has enough gap or enough pace to catch Proudfoot. Not that he isn't quick, but I think Proudfoot just built a big enough of a gap when Wygant lost all that time in the last stint. I think it's just one of those things that are too hard to overcome. Obviously, Zier is quite a ways back, so I mean, they're gonna run like this to the end, unless.
You know what this race needs?
No.
Some cowbell.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that one. Yeah, it's 8 seconds from Proudfoot to Wygant, 14 to Zier, so they're all kind of spaced out 7 seconds apart, 8 seconds apart. I don't know that Zier will catch Wygant, but if Wygant didn't have an issue and just genuinely clipped the tires that hard, maybe Zier does get there by the end. Who knows? But
Wygant's closing in a little bit.
I think the top three is as you see it. It just might be a slightly different order, but I would probably bet money that they're going to finish in that order. This is all assuming it stays green to the end. 18 to go. The laps click off very quickly around Darlington when it stays green, but oh my goodness, Zachary Meredith wants it to go yellow quite desperately, it looks like, as he lost it in Calamity Corner and smacks the wall. And he is currently 15th, and he is 3 laps down on his own lap, so he doesn't even have to push, and he's struggling out there. If that doesn't show you defending champion having issues.
Not easy, this track, in the slightest.
There's a reason why it's called the Lady in Black. Too tough to tame. The Darlington stripes, all these metaphors and analogies.
Donaldson.
It doesn't just get it for nothing.
Donaldson closing in on William Britton as Denny and Henderson close in on him. We're about to have a 4-car battle for the top 10. 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Very, very spicy.
Britton's got a lap down, and he's being closed in on. And Britton struggling.
Yeah,
there he is.
I think he might have had a moment there.
Got passed by Nathan Estep. Oh, and Britton's struggling. He just pulled off there. He is
Well,
struggling.
remember he
big time.
played the strategy game. He was the first person to pit. We knew he would get that temporary gain. So I think that's the smartest thing for him to do, because the furthest back he can fall is 12th. That's the only amount of cars that are 1 lap down. I don't see Britton going another lap. You know what I mean? He's going to take some pain here, but overall he's going to get a fantastic finish. Probably is one of his top 3 career best finishes if he just stays like this, even with that pain he's having right now. That's the trade-off. He got the track position early on, and now he's trying to hold on. But I take it back. Adams is also 1 lap down. So the furthest Britton can go is 13th.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to get lapped again in 15 laps.
Effectively the battle for the lucky dog. Basically, if something does happen and there goes Britton in the wall, Apson just trying to get through this.
Yeah. And you can see.
Yeah, Britton just got to let them go. He knows there's nothing he can do. There's not Parker's. That's the 90 of the double check here. The 90, I believe, that is of Dylan McDonald.
Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to think of it too. Yeah, Britton, that's very smart driving from William. He's still got a top 15. He's going to have a fantastic finish. He was up front for a bit today. He led some laps. There's no reason to try and squabble about and potentially cause a caution and then potentially wreck yourself out. You've got some great points on hand. You got a great day to take home and be proud about. These guys are 2 or 3 seconds a lap faster than you at this point. I mean, you can see the gap they've already extended.
Yeah.
Just let them go. It's against your nature as a race car driver, but you know what's the most against your nature as a race car driver? Preventing yourself from getting good finishes.
Especially when they've been so hard to find. This is the battle for 10th place Absolutely. We're looking at right now. Denny and Henderson both needing a good result to have something to kick off 2024 with.
Yeah, Henderson's going to want this one really bad, especially with how fast he was at the opening stanza of this race. He would really like to take a top 10 home. I don't know that he's even finished in the top 10.
He's had 3.
He's had 3, which is
abysmal for his
if we were talking
expectations.
if we were talking about William Britton, that'd be fantastic. But yeah, I mean,
former runner-up in the championship at one point. Competition's only gotten harder.
Denny. They gotta be careful not to wipe each other out here.
Just a little smidge.
Proudfoot's watching this on the TVs down the back straightaway and is just thinking, "Oh my god."
If you got time to sit and watch it on the TVs on the back straightaway,
that's how much gap he has. Yeah, it's been a unbelievable second half of this race for Proudfoot, who had to kind of work his way through the field to get here.
And looking at this battle for the top 10, Denny in 10th, Henderson in 11th, trying to take it away. A little bit further up the road, and really a little bit further back on the road. Swadworth and Thompson battling for the 6th spot. Thompson's going to take it away.
Thompson's had a fantastic little race today.
Yeah, really good race.
One of those moments where we see a really mature drive out of a very young driver. I think she's going to be very, very happy with that.
First race with Carolina Beagle Racing too. Good effort there.
Part of the musical chairs.
But Jonathan Adams closing in on this battle as well, with coming to 7 laps to go.
Oh yeah, they keep finding the safer barrier every other corner. Now Henderson's going to need to get moving.
Yeah, he's finally gotten around Denny here. Denny
got some
gives in that one.
But here's the thing, Adams wants that top 10 too. And I think Adams has the pace to get it back. We saw how fast that 88 car was.
Well, he also made a trip down pit lane too, so that's going to help him out a ton.
Yeah, that too. Got fresh tires. This is all that's going to be Henderson. I feel like Henderson's going to end up P11 here. Yeah, I don't know. It's like watching. It's like those fake lottery ticket videos. I never thought those were funny. They just break my heart. It's someone just gave Henderson a fake lottery ticket. Oh my goodness. He's got to hold on for 6 more laps, but the speed is so overwhelming for that 88 machine. I just do not see it happening.
He's got to defend like his life depends on it here.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's gonna be able to. He has decent pace. It's just that with 5 to go, once the 88 catches him, you know, it's gonna be moments before he's around, because Henderson just is helpless to defend with how old his tires are compared to Adams. You can see out of the corner of the screen here, that's a big gaggle behind.
William Britton in pit lane.
Yeah, maybe he didn't have enough fuel.
Oh.
Now that's going to hurt him. He's going to lose a couple more positions, I think, because of that. He's going to lose another lap, but still should be in the top 20, I reckon. Oh, yeah, easily still in the top.
Well,
yeah,
Zach
he may
Meredith
actually
just came down pit lane, too, so.
Oh, yeah, well, he may not even lose a position then. That might just about work out. As you can see here, the battle for 10th place, it is...
Bottom. Oh, wow.
Ooh, but if Adams misses the corner like that, that's Henderson's putting up a good fight, honestly. I didn't think it would have been... I figured it would have been done and dusted, to tell you the truth.
Bottom.
Yeah, the music is still going for sure,
oh, yeah.
But a valiant effort here. Henderson going to try to make that car awfully wide.
Gotta make that back straightaway wide.
3 laps remaining.
Adams cannot be over aggressive. He's got the advantage. He's got that pace advantage. He's got that grip advantage too. And right on the bumper.
Oh wow! He's probably gonna push him in a little deeper than he wants to go. You can see the push there. Push him in deeper than he wants to go. Open the bottom for himself.
Henderson was able to get back down there.
Yeah, that was a great little block. 2 to go for 10th place. Proudfoot comfortably leading as he comes around to take the white flag now.
One lap to go, presented by Henderson Graphics.
And what has been a dominant performance to the back half of this race. He has not put a foot wrong all day long, and it is paying off in a big way for Proudfoot. Pacey Wygen and Lilac Zier are going to round out the podium, provided no extra goofy things.
Oh,
they've crashed.
That is
wow.
Swatsworth.
Swatsworth and Henderson. Is Henderson maybe out of fuel, you think?
I have no idea, but Brandon Proudfoot's going to take his 5th career win in the HTL Cup Series, his 4th this season, and Punch is taking it to the round of 8. Wygen finishes 2nd and Zier 3rd.
I wonder what happened to the 25. They were battling. I don't know if he spun himself or if he's out of gas or what. But he will complete the race now.
We'll take a look here. It looks like it started up here. Thompson and Swatsworth.
Yeah, this is the battle for position here, but I wonder how... Yeah, these were two completely separate situations. I wonder how this ends up. Oh, he just... Oh, he clobbered him. Oh, wow. I think he overcorrected. I don't think that was intentional, but he just clobbered him, and they both lose out. I think Denny actually gets the top 10, and then... Oh, wow. Not sure what happened with that. Definitely not a fuel problem. I think that might have been a driver problem. You can see Proudfoot barely sneak his way by on the last lap there. A little bit of controversy. Great. Yeah, I don't know about that. It's on board with Blake.
Side by side, 3, 3, and 4.
I mean, you know how bad he wants this too. He's pushing so hard.
I think this is a full lap ahead of whatever actually happens here. So we're getting a full onboard.
Yeah, this is right about when we cut away to come look at Proudfoot. So this is basically the bits we missed. And almost ran him over there.
Checked up there, no contact between the two.
Yeah,
see what happens here into turn 1 and 2.
So he's gonna get a bump in the center. It doesn't look like it's an intentional thing, though. I think it's just all over. I think it's another lap yet before this one.
This is the full transaction. This is where the first contact happens here, because that's why Adam sent him.
Puts a big block on him here. I mean, fair enough.
Does a really good job of holding on to it.
And it's right about here, I think, if this is the...
Gets to him.
Oh, I mean, it just was the littlest of touches, and I don't really think that's even Adam's fault. It didn't look super egregious. It just looked like, I mean, Adams just has that much overspeed, and then I'm not really sure what this was all about. You saw Henderson try to move to the left to try to get out of the way. Swatsworth kind of just ran him over, but I don't know if Swatsworth thought maybe he had more of a hole. I'm not sure. It looked a bit silly like the old days of NR 2003 when the AI just kind of run into each other like they didn't see each other there. I don't know, but heartbreak for Henderson and Swatsworth, but it's all smiles for Brandon Proudfoot. 5 seconds clear of Pacey Wygen, who put on a stellar performance. Zachary Apperson 5th, Thompson 6th. Great efforts from them, and Denny does end up sneaking away with that 10th place position when it was all said and done.
Yeah, fantastic job. We'll go over the full results here in just a moment. We will talk, first of all, to our race winner. We'll talk to Brandon Proudfoot here tonight. Brandon, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Alrighty, what a phenomenal job there. Had to work to get it there. Started 23rd, was down as low as 33rd at one point in this race. Really took you until stage 3 to really find that rhythm and dominate here, but a win at Darlington and a ticket all the way straight forward to the round of 8 already. Walk us through it.
Lots of patience. First things first, naps are dangerous. That's why I was late tonight. I took a nap on the couch and was like, I know this is probably going to be a long night. I'm going to try to catch some Z's. And then I get woken up at 8 o'clock. Hey, qualifying starting soon, right? I'm like, uh-oh. So patience through and through. Qualifying, got really, really close to hitting the wall. Ended up getting a check in a lap. I believe I've qualified 23rd. So right from the get-go, it was just a battle of patience. A lot of people like to try and bang the right side off here at this track. I believe the last time we were here, I was also a contender, and ultimately I ended up smacking the right side pretty good and falling back a good bit. So just ultimately lots and lots of patience and paying attention to where the dangers may lie.
Obviously, this makes the next couple races a lot easier for you. You don't have to worry about Chicagoland or Talladega. You're already into the round of 8. What does that do for you going forward? Now you've went ahead and started the playoff swinging. What's next now on the agenda? Is it just all about just building that and continuing that momentum, or do you immediately just start focusing on that round of 8 to try to do the same thing and get to the championship 4?
I think I need to take naps more often. In all serious though, yeah, it's definitely off the shoulders. Anybody that's in the round of 12, it would be off of their shoulders. Let me pull up the schedule here real quick, but yeah, it's definitely overall just a big relief with some of the tracks that were coming up. Obviously Talladega coming up here next week. That's anybody's game. Then Chicagoland, and then right at the start of the round of 8 is a road course, which I will be so very excited to do. I think I will have a good shot there, and the rest of the schedule from there is lots of fun. So I think a lot of the variable tracks are early on here in the round of 12. So definitely taking one off here tonight definitely sets the hopes high for the remainder of the season.
Absolutely. You're getting your 5th career win here in the HTL Cup Series. Moving on to the round of 8 already in the championship ambition. Already a favorite to be in the championship 4. One step closer to making that happen here tonight. A fantastic effort. 78 laps led of 183 laps tonight. Before I let you go and let you celebrate and get ready for the week ahead, if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats on the effort and a race win tonight.
Of course, McCody Setup Shop, Henderson Graphics, Grounds and Hounds Coffee, Sewer Bros, Blackwater Suds, everybody over at Lady Liberty for getting me caught up from my nap. Obviously Kevin for having me come on over. Everybody over at HTL that does stuff in the background. Blake, everyone over there. You guys here at ABN for allowing us to be seen by everybody and have a wonderful chance at showing off these playoffs at these wonderful tracks we got coming up. And ultimately, family, friends, and anybody that roots anybody on here on ABN.
Phenomenal drive into the round of 8. For the first time in his HTL Cup career, Brandon Proudfoot, 5th career win here at Darlington, taking another crown jewel with him on the way to Fontana. Brandon, enjoy it, and we'll be seeing you next week at Talladega.
See you then. Have a good night, everybody.
That was Brandon Proudfoot. A great job by the race winner here tonight. We'll work down. First time we get to talk to him on the Cup Series stage. Pacey Wygant, 2nd place finisher here tonight. He did a fantastic job to get that 2nd place result, balancing this with his Truck Series ambitions, bound for a championship in that series as well, getting his first podium here in the Cup Series tonight. Pacey, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
What a drive. Congrats on the podium. What a way to kick off the week. You're going to be here all week. May as well start off strong. 2nd place tonight with a lap led. Didn't ever go any lower than 8th place. What was it about this track that kept you so competitive tonight?
Everybody else making mistakes. I was just trying to stay as smooth and consistent as I could tonight, and it paid off.
Obviously, a big night for you tonight, getting the podium here right before you have to do the same thing tomorrow night. Obviously, trying to go into a championship fight here in the Truck Series tomorrow night as well. Obviously, this track is difficult, but you seem to make it look pretty easy. You and Proudfoot and Zier able to keep your heads pretty well pointed on straight there. Was this a track that you sort of highlighted as a place you knew you were going to do well, or is this one of those tracks where you just kind of surprise yourself?
A I mean, to be completely honest with you, this was one of the tracks I had circled that I didn't want to race. So, I guess I just don't like the way the next gen drives at Darlington. I wish we were in the Gen 6 if we were going to Darlington, but get what you get. You can't throw a fit about it. So, yeah, I just definitely didn't expect the podium, let alone a second place finish. You know, out of everybody in HTL, Proudfoot at that. So, and I was able to keep up with them in the run there. So, couldn't gain, but I could keep up.
Obviously, and you talk about the Gen 6, you could do that again on Friday here because it's Darlington week in HTL competition. You go forward, obviously not really battling for a championship or anything here in the Cup Series, but the Truck Series is wide open between you, between Patrick Oberstadt, between John Hagan. How do you go in? You've got momentum now. Just this week alone at this track, you go into the vehicles that will be a little bit more favorable. How do you feel now going into the Truck Series tomorrow night, knowing that this is a track you weren't looking forward to tonight, and you already pulled a result there? What does tomorrow feel like for you?
The Truck Series, I'm great, and at Darlington, I never quite have the luck at Darlington. It seems in league racing, but I feel like pretty confident about going into Darlington tomorrow night. And on the Cup side of things, me as a driver, I'm not battling, but my car number is in the owners, so I do have to still run well.
Well, you did a fantastic job and did a really good job here tonight to get second place in Darlington with a couple more really important races coming up here in the days ahead. Before I let you go and let you get ready for those races, though, if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats on the podium here tonight at Darlington. Hopefully the first of many in the Cup Series competition.
Thank you. I'd like to shout out all CCR and Zach for putting me in the car and giving me the opportunity. I'd like to thank my spotter, even though he wasn't with me tonight, Rodney Ayers, and just the HTL as a whole. It was a fun race tonight.
Absolutely a fantastic job. A lot of fun watching the 24 car battle of the night. Second place for Pacey Legend here at Darlington with 2 more races at this track coming up here. Going to be very familiar with this track and all the bumps and bruises that come with it by the time Friday rolls around. Pacey, enjoy the podium, and we'll be seeing you again tomorrow night.
Thank you.
That was Pacey Wygant, second place finisher here tonight. We've got one more person to get to talk to. A driver who just a couple weeks ago got their first HTL Cup Series win. Topping a podium on top of that, Lilac Zier looking strong here tonight. Lilac, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good, although I'd say it's probably going to be a little bit better for you. You started in 10th, stayed up front most of this race at a track that's very difficult, led a few laps, and ultimately did a lot of work to make yourself a lot more comfortable going into the round of going further in the round of 12 here. Talladega up next. Walk us through your race here tonight. Obviously, we know how good you can be at tracks like Darlington, and obviously how your race went, and obviously what you're looking forward to next week at Talladega.
Yeah, well, it was kind of a tale of the first half and the second half were opposites, you know? The first half was all short runs, and I was trying to take it easy, not push too hard, and everyone else wanted to go. So I kind of gave up some spots there that put me back in the mid-teens, and I'm like, I'm going to try strategy in the first stage, because if it doesn't work, I won't want to do it later. But if it does work, I'll know it works later. So I took tires, went back to about 22nd, and then stayed out at the end of the stage or something. And that didn't work at all. But I did find out, okay, don't do that next time. Ended up drifting back to about 18th, but I was still holding my own on the older tires. And then there was a crash, gave me some spots. And then I went into the pits and sped, so I went back to 20th again. But once I was on equal tires, then at least I could fight for it. And I worked my way up to 13th or so by the second stage. Came out of the pits 11th, and it went green the rest of the way, which was really what I needed because I was doing a lot better on long runs, especially at Darlington. So that's my favorite, is long runs. Really, in this setup too, is like you got to ride the right rear. It's loose, but just on the edge of control, and try not to hit the wall. I think everyone probably hit the wall at least a couple times, but I didn't get any major damage. I had one little hit that did minor damage, but car drove fine. And yeah, I just started picking people off. Some people had spins and crashes that didn't bring out cautions. You know, the way iRacing decides the racing surface versus off the racing surface means that that's going to happen at Darlington, which worked in my favor. And I don't even know exactly how I got to third. I thought I was going to come out around fifth, but then I passed Shed after the final stop. Just I think he was probably saving his tires more, but I wanted to push, and I didn't push too hard, but you know, just push a little bit, and then suddenly I was third. I don't know, someone else must have had a problem or a pit stop, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go for third. Probably can't catch second. I pushed for a while to try to catch second. There was a lot of lap traffic, which just is, you know, it is what it is. I don't think I would have caught him anyway, so I just finally said, all right, I'm going to consolidate and just not lose third, because I'm getting too close to the wall now.
Well, it works out here. Obviously, third place here, very comfortable going into, you know, Talladega and Chicagoland. You won the last plate race at Daytona. Does Talladega bode any confidence for you, knowing you've won the last plate race? And if not, do you look at Chicagoland as being a potential place to rebound if something happens to keep your championship hopes going and into the round of 8?
Yeah, I think Talladega is, you know, always luck based. I mean, you can do your best and still get taken out, or you can drive like a dip and still win sometimes. But you know, I'll do my best. I might hang back early and just try to get to the last stage before I really push. But not super confident. I feel like, you know, Daytona kind of worked out in my favor. We had good teamwork. That was a part of it. That'll surely help us at Talladega too. But you know, it can still go wrong in a heartbeat. So yeah, Chicagoland, I think that should be a good one. And you know, no promises or guarantees, but I feel confident that we can at least have a chance to get into the round of 8.
Well, a phenomenal job here tonight. Third place, a podium to kick off the playoffs here in the HTL Cup Series, with a couple of really important races coming up here. Lilac, before we let you go and let you get ready for the races coming up, if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats on another phenomenal performance here tonight.
Yeah, shout out to ABN for the broadcast. Shout out to Blake and Alfred and all the admins who do a great job, despite the fact that we needle them in the Discord sometimes. They're actually doing good. Thanks to Stepping Stone, James, and my teammates, and also Jacob Schenkel Racing, the, you know, partner team, worked together, and yeah, everyone back at shop, and all the fans watching at home. Thank you.
Great job, Lilac. Third place here tonight to kick off the round of 12. Lilac 0 moving on to Talladega to try to do what she did at Daytona 2 weeks ago. Enjoy it, Lilac, and we'll be seeing you again very shortly.
Thank you.
That was Lilac 0, third place finisher here tonight. A fantastic job here for the 50 car here tonight. We'll walk through everything as they appear. A phenomenal race turns out for Brandon Proudfoot, race winner here tonight. A great effort winning this race. Pacey Wygant, Lilac 0, top 3 for all 3 of them. Nathan Estep in 4th position is how he ended up finishing this race. A phenomenal effort for him, looking strong into the round of 12. Here's Zach Apperson, top 5 for him. Selena Thompson, P6, one of her best results of the season so far. Shad Swatsworth, a lot of stage points, still looking good, but could do a lot better with that. Had 5th place in his hands before the last lap there. Gary Donaldson, Jonathan Adams, and Alfred Denny rounding out the top 10. Alfred Denny, a much-needed top 10 to kick off his 2024. But it wasn't without a little bit of a cost to it. Looking further down in the order in this run here, Josh Arnold ended up with 11th place, ended up getting ahead of Blake Henderson in that run. So that's how important that last lap was. Henderson ended up going from being 1 lap down to 2 laps down and in 12th place after being in 10th. Just wild stuff there all night long. John Hagan ended up 13th place, not where he wanted to be after being in contention to win the race. A speeding penalty confirming being the incident that killed his night. William Britton ended up 14th place ahead of Bianca Constantinou, Zach Meredith, Louis Peltier Sharp, Hunter Whitlock, Eli Sassick, and Byron Jones round out the top 10, or round out the top 20 here tonight at Darlington. A little bit further down in the running order here, you start seeing some of the drivers further on down the run. It is Joe Rodriguez, Josh Sosi, Matthew Boone, and Kevin Gibney in the top 24. Elias Flores, Bobby Blowers, 25th and 26th. Not the way Blowers wanted to start his round of 12 appearance. Dylan McDonald, 27th. Josh Gaiman, 28th. Caleb Carter and DJ Trout round out the top 30. 35 cars took the start. The last 5, for the first 5 retirements, if you look at it. Kelly Height, Casey Ellis, Jeremy Breo, Hunter Peach, and Ryan Moutre round out the field here tonight. A wild effort here at Darlington Raceway. We'll get to see more of it tomorrow night, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time here on ABN Esports 1. It's the HTL Hammerdown Truck Series from Darlington Raceway, and we get to do the same thing on Friday. The HTL National Series, second race of the season from right here in South Carolina, wrapping up a very wild couple weeks to kick off 2024. On behalf of everyone here for ABN Studios and ABN Esports 1, HTL in the Cup Series, like with commentator Kristina Ryan, I'm Carmen Sienna. Till next time, stay safe, stay healthy, have some fun this week. We'll see you tomorrow night right here at Darlington. So long, everybody.